windy out here.
Can't see it because my hair's in a beanie. My hair. Um,
Uh,
Welcome to Table Read Tuesday. And today we're reading an unforgettable script, The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. One of my favorite movies and favorite scripts and favorite writers and, standout performances. But tonight we get to see the performances of these fine actors. And so we'll go around and introduce them all, and then we'll get into the script. So, Angelina Peterson.
Oh, me first. Okay, I'm Angel or Angelina, and I'm going to be playing readings for Carrie Mother Naomi and Sad Woman's Voice. With the wind blowing in my hair, out in the middle of cold winter.
Awesome. And Heather Lee Cameron.
Hi, my name is Lady Heather, Lady Heather's Domain. I'm just kidding. My name is Heather Lee Cameron. I'm an actor, I'm a writer, and I'm a creative freelancer from Lethbridge, Alberta, and I will be reading for Old Woman, conductor, recorded voice, phone machine voice, vague recorded voice, Rob, and Hollis's voice.
And Vicki Dykes.
Hi, I'm Vicki Dykes. I'm an actress from Central Alberta, Canada. Tonight I'll be doing actions and descriptions and Distraught Woman.
Sweet. Thank you for that. And Clint Monroe.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Clint Monroe coming at you from the NYC. Here just hustling. It's interesting right now. We've got a screenwriting masterclass, and in the adjoining room in the same apartment, we have a piano masterclass going down. So that's what's up. That's New York life. Anyways, I'm going to read a couple characters. Patrick, father and male employee number 1. And my main goal is to dive super deep into dialogue with this and pick it apart and see what's going on. So that's me, and rock on.
All right, Morgan Toll.
Hi, I'm Morgan Toll. Excited to be here. I love Charlie Kaufman and I love Table Read Tuesday. So I'm just excited to be here.
Super excited to have you here as always. And Petra Stedman.
Hi, Petra Stedman will be reading the role of Clementine tonight. Just ignore the hair. We're here in spirit, if not in color today, but that's okay. And just big fan of movies in general and dramas, comedies, everything in between, which I think this is a really good crosshatch of, if you will, of different film genres and philosophies, which I do kind of like. I'm interested to look at the difference between page to screen. There we go. That's what I was trying to come with. There you go.
I'm very curious to see some of the differences. Just watched it again last night to refresh it. And already from doing the casting, you could see that there's some roles in the script that didn't make it to the film. So yeah, curious to see. But we'll continue. Mackenzie Kahn.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie Kahn. I'm an actor and a singer and a songwriter and all the things. And I love this movie, and Jim Carrey is one of my idols. And I'm very excited. I will be playing Mary, the receptionist, and Old Mary. So
awesome. And last but certainly not least, a newcomer to Table Read Tuesday, we welcome Vince Cash.
Yeah. Vincent E. Cash here, and I'm originally from Georgia, and I'm living in Cali now. Want to be an actor. Looking forward to this table read. Never did a table read on Zoom before, so it's going to be exciting for me. Thank you for inviting me.
So happy to have you. We're excited, and we're ready to get started. So I'll share the script, and Vicki Dykes will take us away. Whenever you're ready.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind by Charlie Kaufman. Copyright 2003, Focus Features. Interior Publishing House Reception Area, Day. It's grand and modern. Random House Taschen is etched on the wall in large gold letters. An old woman enters carrying a tattered manuscript, maybe 1,000 pages. She seems haunted, hollow-eyed, sickly. The young receptionist, dressed in a shiny, stretchy one-piece pantsuit, looks up.
Oh, hi.
I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd see.
I think he's in a conference, unfortunately. I'm really sorry.
Oh, would you just try him? You never know. As long as I'm here, you never know.
Of course. Please have a seat.
The old woman smiles and sits, the bulky manuscript on her lap. She stares politely straight ahead.
It's her. I know, but couldn't you just... Yes, I know, but she's old and it would be not a nice... Yes. Sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. He's not in right now. It's a crazy time of year for us.
The receptionist gestures towards a Christmas tree in the corner. Its ornaments are holograms.
This book, it's essential that people read it because it's the truth. And only I know it.
Maybe after the holidays then.
Interior tiled hallway, day. The old woman carries her manuscript haltingly down a subway hall. She stops to catch her breath, then continues and passes several archways with letters printed above them. When she arrives at one topped by an LL, she slips a card in a slot. A plastic molded chair drops into the archway. She sits in the chair. It rises. Interior tube, day. The woman is still in the chair as it slips gracefully into a line of chairs shooting through a glass tube. The other chairs are peopled with commuters. We stay with the woman as she and the other commuters travel over New York City in the tube. There are hundreds of these commuter tubes crisscrossing the skyline. The woman glances at the manuscript in her lap. It's called Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This serves as the movie's opening title. The other credits follow as the old woman studies commuters in passing tubes. Their faces are variously harsh and sad and lonely and blank. Interior waiting room, day. Subtitle, 50 years earlier. Every doctor's office waiting room. Chairs against the wall, magazines on end tables, a sad-looking potted plant, generic seascape paintings on the walls. The receptionist, Mary, 25, can be seen typing in the reception area. Behind her are shelves and shelves of medical files. The door opens and Clementine enters. She's in her early 30s, a Zaftig in a faux fur winter coat over an orange hooded sweatshirt. She's decidedly funky and has blue hair. Mary looks up.
May I help you?
Yeah, hi. I have a 1 o'clock with Dr. Mirziak, Clementine Krasinski.
Yes. Please have a seat. He'll be right with you.
Clementine sits. She looks tired, maybe hungover. She picks up a magazine at random and thumbs through without interest. Interior inner office area continuous. Mary pads down the hallway. She knocks on a closed door.
Yes.
Mary opens the door, peeks in. Howard Mirziak, 40s, professional, dry, sits behind his desk studying some papers.
Howard, your 1 o'clock?
Thanks, Mary. Can you bring her in?
She smiles and nods. It's clear she's in love. It's equally clear that Mirziak doesn't have a clue. Mary turns to leave.
Mary,
Yes?
order me a pastrami for after,
Coleslaw? Iced tea?
thanks.
Welcome, Howard.
She smiles and heads down the hall. Stan, 30s, tall, spindly, and earnest in a lab coat, pops out of a doorway.
Hi.
She glances back nervously at Mirziak's open door.
I've seen you all this morning, kiddo.
He leans in to kiss her. She cranes her neck to keep him off.
Damn. Come on.
Sorry, I just.
It's just, I mean,
I know. Anyway,
I've got to do my little tap dance here.
She indicates the door to the reception area. Stan nods.
see you later, alligator.
Okay.
Hey, if you're ordering lunch for Merziak, would
I better do this, Stan.
Stan nods again, and Mary opens the door to the waiting room.
Miss Krasinski?
Hi.
After a moment, Clementine appears in the doorway. Mary leads her down the hall, not looking back.
How are you today?
Okay, I guess.
Here we are.
Mirzawa steps out from behind his desk.
Miss Kowinski, please come in.
Clementine enters the office. Mary smiles at Mirzawak and closes the door, leaving them alone. Interior office. Mirzawak directs Clementine to a chair next to a coffee table on a conspicuously placed box of tissues. Mirzawak sits across from her. He smiles.
Hi, how are you today?
Okay, I guess.
Well, why don't you tell me what's going on? Do you mind if I turn this on?
He indicates a tape recorder.
I don't care.
He turns it on, smiles at her, gestures for her to begin.
Well, I've been having a bad time with my boyfriend, I guess.
You guess he's your boyfriend, or you guess you're having a bad time with him?
What? No, I don't like the term boyfriend. It's so gay.
Mirzawak nods. He's attentive, pleasant, and neutral throughout.
Okay, so like maybe gay isn't the right word, but anyway, it's just been rough with him, you know, whatever the fuck he is. I mean, my significant other, I guess. And I guess on a certain level, I want to break it off, but I feel, you know, it's like this constant questioning and re-questioning. Do I end it? Should I give it more time? I mean, I'm not happy, but what do I expect? Relationships require work. You know the drill. And the thing is, I keep coming back to is I'm not getting any younger, and I want to have a baby at some point, maybe. Right. And so I think maybe I should settle, which is not necessarily the best word for it. I mean, he's a good guy, it's not really settling, but then I think maybe I'm just a victim of movies, you know, like I have some completely unrealistic notion of what a relationship is supposed to be. But then I think, no, this is what I really want. So I should allow myself the freedom to go out and fucking find it, you know, agreed. Right. But then I think he's a good guy and it's complicated, you know?
I think I know. I think we can help. Why don't you just start by telling me about your relationship? Everything you can think of, everything about him, everything about you, and we'll take it from there.
She nods, thinks.
Well, he's a fucking tidy one.
Exterior commuter train station. Subtitle 2 weeks later. The platform is crowded with business commuters. Joel is among them. He's in his 30s, gaunt, and holding a briefcase. The platform across the tracks from him is empty. Suddenly he turns and makes his way through the crowd. He climbs the stairs, crosses the overpass to the empty platform. Soon, an almost empty train pulls up to that platform. Joel gets on and watches the business commuters through the dirty window as his train pulls out of the station. Exterior, Montauk train station later. Joel talks to a payphone. The wind howls around him. He tries to shield the mouthpiece as he talks.
Hi, Cindy. Joel. Listen, I'm not feeling well this morning. No, food poisoning, I think. Sorry it took me so long to call in and I've been vomiting.
Exterior beach day. Joel wanders the windy, empty beach with his briefcase. He passes an old man with a metal detector. They nod at each other. Later, Joel looks out at the ocean. Later, Joel sits on a rock and pulls out a notebook. He opens it and writes with a gloved hand.
January 13th, 2006. Today I skipped work and took the train out to Montauk. It's cold. The sky is gray. I don't know what else to say. Nothing happens. Nothing changes. I saw Naomi last night. We had sex. It was weird to fall into our old familiar sex life so easily. Like no time had passed. After 2 years apart, suddenly we're talking about getting together again. I guess that's good.
He has no other thoughts. He glances up, spots a female figure in the distance, walking in his direction. She stands out against the gray in a fluorescent orange hooded sweatshirt. It's Clementine. He watches her for a bit. Then, as she nears, he goes back to his writing, or at least pretends to. Once she's passed, he watches her walk away. She stops and stares out at the ocean. Joel writes.
If I'm constitutionally incapable of making eye contact with a woman I don't know, I guess I better get back with Naomi.
Later, Joel walks up near the beach house, closed for the season. He peeks cautiously in a dark window. Later, Joel digs into the sand with a stick. Interior, diner day. It's a local tourist place, but off-season, empty. Joel sits in a booth and eats a grilled cheese sandwich and a bowl of tomato soup. An elderly couple drink coffee at the counter. Clementine enters, looks around, takes off her hood. Joel glances at her bright blue hair. She picks up an empty booth and sits. Joel studies her discreetly. The waitress approaches her with a coffee pot.
God, yes, you're saving my life.
The waitress pours the coffee.
You know what you want yet?
Ain't that the question of the century?
The waitress is not amused.
You got any grilled cheese and tomato soup?
Yeah, we're having the run on it.
The waitress heads to the grill. Clementine fishes in her bag, brings a coffee cup under the table for a moment, pours something in, then brings the cup back up.
Oh, and some cream, please.
Clementine looks around the place. Her eyes meet Joel's before he is able to look away. She smiles vaguely. He looks embarrassed, and then down at his journal. Clementine pulls a book from her purse and starts to read. Joel glances up, tries to see the cover. It's blue. He can't read the title. Exterior beach day. Joel stares out at the ocean. Far down the beach, Clementine stares at it too. Joel glances sideways at her, then back at the ocean. Exterior Montauk train station platform, late afternoon. Joel sits on a bench waiting for the train. Clementine enters the platform, sees Joel, the only other person there. She waves, sort of goofily enthusiastic, playing as if they're old friends. He waves back, embarrassed. She takes a seat on a bench far down the platform. Joel stares at his hands, pulls out his journal, and tries to write in order to conceal his awkwardness. Interior train a bit later. Joel sits at the far end of the empty car and watches the slowly passing desolate terrain. After a moment, the door between cars opens and Clementine enters. Joel looks up. Clementine is not looking at him. She busies herself, deciding where to sit. She settles on a seat at the opposite end of the car. Joel looks out the window. He feels her watching him. The train is picking up speed. Finally.
Hi.
Joel looks over.
Sorry?
Why?
Why what?
Why are you sorry? I just said hi.
No, I just didn't know if you were talking to me, so.
She looks around the empty car.
Really?
Well, I didn't want to assume.
Ah, come on, live dangerously. Take the leap and assume someone is talking to you in an otherwise empty train car.
Anyway, sorry. Hi.
Clementine makes her way down the aisle towards Joel.
Is it okay if I sit closer, just so I don't have to scream? I mean, not that I don't need to scream sometimes, believe me, but I don't want to bug you if you're trying to write or something.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I can't really think of much to say, probably.
Oh, so...
She hesitates in the middle of the car, looks back where she came from.
I mean, it's okay if you want to sit down here. I didn't mean to.
No, I don't want to bug you if you're trying to.
It's really okay.
Just, to chat a little, maybe. I have a long trip ahead of me. And how far are you going on the train? I mean, of course.
Rockville Center.
Get out! Me too. What are the odds?
The weirder part is I actually recognize you. I thought that earlier in the diner. That's why I was looking at you. You work at Borders, right?
Oh, really? You're kidding. God, bizarre, small world, right? Yep, that's me. Former book slave for like, God, 5 years now?
Really? Because
Jesus, is it 5 years? Oh, I've got to quit like right now.
I go there all the time. I don't think I've ever seen you before.
Well, I'm there. I mean, I hide in the back as much as is humanly possible. Do you have a cell phone? I need to seriously quit right this minute. I'm going to call in dead.
I don't have one.
You know what? I'll go on the dole like my daddy before me.
I noticed your hair. I guess it made an impression on me. That's why I was pretty sure I recognized you.
Oh, the hair. Blue, right? It's called Blue Ruin. The color. Snappy name, huh?
I like it.
Blue Ruin is cheap gin, in case you were wondering.
Yeah. Tom Waits says it in,
Exactly, Tom Waits. Wait, which song?
I can't remember.
Anyway, this company makes a whole line of colors with like equally snappy names: Red Menace, Yellow Fever, Green Revolution. That'd be a job coming up with those names, you know? Like, how do you get a job like that? I think that's what I'm gonna do. Just fuck going on the dole.
I don't really know how.
Purple Haze, Pink Eraser.
You think that could possibly be a full-time job? How many hair colors could there be?
Well, somebody's got that job. Oh, Agent Orange. I came up with that one. Anyway, there are endless color possibilities, and I would be great at it.
I'm sure you would.
My writing career, Your Hair by Clementine Krasinski. The Tom Waits album is Rain Dogs.
You sure? That doesn't sound...
Honestly, anyway, I've tried all their colors more than once. I think I'm probably getting too old for this, but it keeps me from having to develop an actual personality. I apply my personality in paste. You?
I doubt that's the case.
Well, you don't know me, so you don't really know, do you?
Sorry, I was just trying to be nice.
Yeah, I got it. My name's Clementine, by the way.
I'm Joel.
And no jokes about my name? I mean, oh, you wouldn't do that. You're trying to be nice.
I don't know any jokes about your name.
Huckleberry Hound?
I don't know what that means.
Huckleberry Hound? What are you, nuts?
I'm not nuts.
Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling, Clementine. No?
Sorry. It's a pretty name, though. It means merciful, right?
Yeah. Although it hardly fits. I'm a vindictive little bitch, truth be told.
See, I wouldn't think that about you.
Why wouldn't you think that about me?
I don't know. I was just, seem nice, so.
Now I'm nice? Don't you know any other adjectives? There's careless and snotty and overbearing and argumentative, mumpish.
Anyway, sorry.
They sit in silence for a while.
I'm sorry, I just don't think nice is a particularly interesting thing to be.
The conductor enters the car.
Tickets.
Joel hands the conductor his ticket. The conductor punches it and hands it back.
I mean, what is nice anyway? I mean, besides an adjective, I guess it can be an adverb too, sort of.
The conductor turns to Clementine. She fishes in her bag.
It doesn't reveal anything, okay? Nice is pandering. It's cowardly, and life is more interesting than that, or it should be. Jesus, God, I hope it is. Someday. Look, I know it's here. Hold on.
The conductor and Joel watch as she gets more agitated.
I don't need nice. I don't need myself to be it, and I don't need anybody else to be it at me.
Okay.
Shit, I know it's here. Just hold on.
She dumps the contents of the bag onto the seat and sifts frantically through. Joel sees the book she was reading at the diner. It's a play by Stephen Dixon.
Damn it. Oh, here it is. Here.
She hands the conductor the ticket, smiles sweetly. He punches it and hands it back to her and walks away.
All right, next stop, Southampton.
The conductor heads into the next car. Clementine shoves stuff back into her purse. Her hands are a little shaky. She pulls an airline-sized bottle of alcohol from her pocket, opens it, and downs it. Joel is watching all of this, but pretending not to. She looks out the window for a while. The train pulls into the station. The doors open. Nobody gets on. The doors close. The train pulls out.
Look, Joel, it's Joel, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry I yelled at you. Was it yelling? I mean, I can't really tell. Whatever. I'm a little out of sorts today.
That's okay.
Look, my embarrassing admission is I really like that you're nice. Right now, anyway. I can't tell from one moment to the next what I'm going to like, but right now I'm glad you said that's okay to me. That was nice of you.
It's no problem. Anyway, I have some stuff I need to.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. I'll just take care.
Probably see you back at the bookstore.
Unless I get that hair color naming job.
Clementine sits and stares out the window. Interior train later. There are a few more people in the car now. Clementine has inched a few seats closer to Joel. She watches him. His head is immersed in his journal. Interior train later. It's dark out. The train is pretty crowded. Joel stares out the window. Clementine sits closer still to Joel, eyes him. Exterior train station evening. The doors open and Joel emerges, along with others. He heads to the parking lot, arrives at his car. There's a big dented scrape along the driver's side. He gets in. Interior cab moments later. Joel drives. He passes Clementine walking. She looks cold. He considers, slows, rolls down his window.
Hi. I could give you a ride if you need.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks, though.
You sure? It's cold.
I don't want to take you out of your way.
It's okay.
Yeah?
He pulls over. She climbs in and they drive.
Where do you live?
You're not a stalker or anything, right?
Well, I probably wouldn't say if I were, but no.
You can't be too careful. I've been stalked. I have been told I am highly stalkable, okay? And I don't need that right now.
I'm not a stalker.
You know Wilmont?
Yeah.
Wilmont, near the high school.
Joel turns. They drive in silence.
Look, I'm very sorry. I came off sort of not so, okay? I'm not really.
It's okay. I didn't think you were.
There's a silence.
So you like bookstores, huh?
I like to read.
Me too. It is Rain Dogs, by the way.
Yeah? I can't remember that album really well. I remember liking it, but...
Yeah, because the song's Ninth and Hennepin, and I spent most of the train ride trying to remember till you're full of ragwater and bitters and blue ruin and you spill out over the side to anyone who will listen. You remember?
Sort of.
Come on, remember? And you take on the dreams of the ones who have slept there, and I'm lost in the window. I hide on the stairway. I hang in the curtain. I sleep in your hat. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm so stupid. I'm a bit of a wreck. I sleep in your hat. Makes me cry. That's me, by the way.
Joel pulls over.
Thank you very much. That was very nice of you.
Well, I wouldn't want to be.
Jeez, I'm full of shit. I already told you that. Anyway, see ya.
Clementine opens the car door.
Take care.
Hey, would you want to have a drink? I have lots of drinks, and I could never mind. That was stupid. I'm embarrassed. Good night, Joel.
Interior, Clementine's apartment, a few minutes later. Joel stands in the living room, somewhat nervously. He tries to calm himself by focusing on the surroundings. He looks at the books on her shelves. Clementine is in the kitchen. We see her as she passes by the doorway several times, preparing drinks and chatting.
Thanks, I like it too. I've been here about 4 years, I think. It's really cheap. And my downstairs neighbor is old, so she's quiet, which is great. And the landlord's really sweet, which is kind of bizarre, but also great. And I have this little porch in the back, which is great because I can read there and listen to my crickets and 2 blue
Clementine is in the living room, now with 2 gin and tonics.
2 blue ruins.
Joel is looking at framed black and white photograph of crows flying.
Do you like that?
Very much.
This someone gave that to me just like recently, and I like it too. I like crows. I think I probably used to be a crow. Ah.
Thanks. That was good. That crow sound.
Do you believe in stuff like that? You know, reincarnation?
I don't know.
Me neither. Oh, there's an inscription on the back. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I rued.
Frost?
Yeah. I'm not like a Robert Frost lover by any stretch. His stuff seems strictly grade school to me, but this made me cry for some reason. I don't know, maybe because it is grade school, you know?
It's pretty.
I missed grade school. I don't know why I'm calling it grade school all of a sudden. When I went, we called it elementary school, but I like grade school better. Sounds like something someone from the 40s would call it, you know? I think I'd like to be from then. Everyone wore hats. Anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
They clink glasses. Clementine giggles and takes a big gulp of her drink. Joel sips. She flops down on the couch and pulls her boots off.
God, that feels so freaking good. Take yours off too.
I'm fine.
Yeah? Well, have a seat anyway.
Joel sits in a chair across the room. Clementine finishes her drink.
You ready for another?
No, I'm okay for now.
She heads towards the kitchen.
Well, I'm ready. Put some music on.
Joel crosses to the CDs and studies them.
What do you want to hear?
You pick.
You just say. I'm not really.
I don't know. I can't see them from here, Joel. Just pick something good.
Joel studies the unfamiliar CDs. He picks up Bang on a Can, performing Brian Eno's Music for Airports to look at. Clementine re-enters with her drink.
Oh, excellent choice.
She grabs it and sticks it in the CD player. The music is dreamy and haunting and slow. Clementine falls back onto the couch, closes her eyes, and sips her drink.
Way to go, Joel. Way to go, Joel. You pick good.
Joel sits down in his chair and drinks. There's a silence, which seems fine to Clementine, but makes Joel anxious.
Well, I should probably get going.
No, stay. Just for a little while. Refill?
No, I
know a man who needs a refill.
She grabs Joel's drink from his hand, takes it into the kitchen.
God bless alcohol is what I say. I mean, where would I be without it? Oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Maybe I don't want to think about that.
She giggles. Joel looks around the room again. There are several potatoes dressed as women in beautiful handmade costumes. A nurse potato, a stripper potato, a school teacher potato, a housewife potato. Clementine returns with Joel's drink and a refill for herself.
Thanks.
Drink up, young man. It makes the whole seduction part seem a little less repugnant.
Joel looks a little alarmed.
Just kidding. Come on.
She sits back on the couch, closes her eyes. Joel watches her, looks at her breasts. She opens her eyes, smiles drunkenly at him.
You know, I'm sort of psychic.
Yeah?
Well, I go to a psychic and she's always telling me that I'm psychic. I mean, she should know, right? Do you believe in that stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. But sometimes I have premonitions, so I don't know. Maybe that's just coincidence, right? I mean, you think something and then it happens, or you think a word and then someone says it, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know.
Exactly. That is exactly my feeling about it. It's hard to know. Like, okay, but how many times do I think something and then it doesn't happen? That's what you're saying, right? You forget about all those times, right?
Yeah, I guess.
But I think I am. I mean, I like to think I am. It's helpful to think there is order to things, some order to things. You're kind of closed-mouthed, aren't you?
Sorry, my life isn't that interesting. I go to work, I go home. I don't know what else to say.
Oh. Does that make you sad or anxious? I'm always anxious thinking I'm not living my life to like the fullest, taking advantage of every possibility, just making sure I'm not wasting 1 second of the little time that I have.
I think about that.
She looks at him really hard for a long time. Joel tries to hold her gaze, but can't. He looks down at his drink. Clementine starts to cry again.
You're really nice. I'm sorry I yelled at you before about it. I'm an idiot.
I do have a tendency to use that word too much.
I like you. That's the thing about my psychic thing. I think that's probably my greatest psychic power, that I get a sense about people. And my problem is I never trust it, but I get it. And with you, I get that you're a really good guy.
Thanks.
But anyway, you sell yourself short. I can tell. There's a lot of stuff going on in your brain. I can tell. My goal. Can I tell you my goal?
Yeah.
What's the goal, Joel? My goal, Joel, is just to let it flow through me. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's all these emotions and ideas, and they come quick and they change and they leave and they come back in a different form. And I think we're all taught that we're supposed to be consistent. You love someone, that's it, forever. You choose to do something with your life, that's it, that's what you do. And it's a sign of maturity to stick with it and see things through. And my feeling is that that's how you die, because you stop listening to what's true, and what's true is constantly changing.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to.
Like I wanted to talk to you. I didn't need any more reason to do it, because who knows what bigger cosmic reason might exist.
Yeah.
You are so nice. God, I have to stop saying that. You're nervous around me, aren't you?
No.
I'm nervous. You don't need to be nervous around me, though. I like you. Do you think I am repulsively fat?
No, not at all.
I don't either. I thought so. I used to, but I'm through with that. If I don't love my body, then I'm just lost, And with all the wrinkles and the scars and the general falling apart that's coming around the bend, so I've been seeing this guy.
Joel looks slightly crestfallen.
Well, for the last week anyway, but he's kind of a kid, kind of a goofball, but he's really stuck on me, which is oddly flattering. Who wouldn't like that? But he's like a dope, but he says these smart and moving things sometimes just out of nowhere that just break my heart. And he's the one who gave me the crow photograph.
Oh, yeah?
And that made me cry. But anyway, we went to Boston because I had this urge to lie on my back on the Charles River. It gets frozen this time of year.
That's scary sounding.
Exactly. I used to do it in college, and I had this weird urge to go and do it again. So I got Patrick, and we drove all night to get there, and he was sweet, and he said nice things to me, but I was really disappointed to be there with him, and that's where my psychic stuff comes in. Like, it isn't right with him,
I think so.
I'm not saying I don't believe in that soulmate crap anymore, but he says so many great things. We like the same writers. This writer, Stephen Dixon, he turned me on to, and he's cute. It's fucked up. Joel, you should come to the Charles with me sometime.
Okay.
Yeah? Great.
She sits closer.
I'll pack a picnic, a night picnic. Night picnics are different, and
It sounds good, but right now I should go.
you should stay.
I have to get up early in the morning tomorrow, so.
Okay.
Joel puts on his overcoat. Clementine heads to the phone table, pulls out a notepad.
I would like you to call me, though. Would you do that? I would like that.
Yes.
She scribbles her phone number, hands it to him. He puts it in his pocket. He stands there uncomfortably for a moment and then forces himself to speak.
I don't think your personality comes out of a tube. I think the hair is just a pretty topping.
She tears up, swallows, and kisses him on the cheek. He's surprised and pleased and nervous.
So, I enjoyed meeting you.
You'll call me, right?
Yeah.
When?
Tomorrow?
Tonight. Just to test out the phone lines and all.
Okay.
We stay with Clementine as she watches Joel tromping through the snow and getting in his car. Interior, Joel's car, night. Joel speeds through the suburban Rockville Center neighborhood. There's no snow on the ground. He seems different, somehow foggy and disoriented. Subtitle 3 days earlier. He arrives at his apartment building and parks. Exterior, Joel's apartment building. Joel gets out of his car, spots a van parked across the street. There are 2 dark figures inside.
Them.
He hurries inside the building. Interior, Joel's apartment, night. Joel enters, dumps his overcoat on a chair, turns off the lights, crosses to look furtively out the window. It's snowing in large flakes, which seem to fall only in the beam of the street light.
It was snowing. There are 2 of them. Couldn't make them out. The orange glow of the cigarette.
Joel squints to see inside the van. 2 dark figures talk. One sucks on a cigarette and a dim orange light momentarily illuminates the interior. The figure in the driver's seat rolls down his window and gives a cheery wave to Joel.
The driver waved, so casual, friendly. I'm like a joke to them.
Joel pulls away from the window, his face blanched.
I guess they figure they can act like they want. They don't have to worry about me remembering.
He paces, mulling things over. As he does, the scene starts to change, almost as if it is drying out.
I might be making a mistake. Maybe I'm making a mistake. Maybe I just need to learn to live with this. First of all, I'll get over it. Secondly, it's happened. Those who do not remember history are condemned to repeat it. Who said that, Churchill? I'm not sure. But I don't care. She did it to me. I have to rid myself of this. Fuck her. Fuck you, Clementine.
The colors bleach. The surroundings become slightly vague. Even Joel's persona and voiceover seem to alter. His emotional intensity becomes diffused. Joel does not seem aware of this. He stops pacing. He takes a small vial from his pocket, dumps the lone pill onto his palm. He looks at it. It's pink. There's some illegible initial stamped on it.
Pink. There was a number on it. I remember AL 1718. I have to follow through with this. I have no choice. The pill was pink. I remember. It had some letters and numbers on it. What were they? AL 1718. AL something. 4 digits. I don't like taking pills when I don't know what they are. I have no choice.
He swallows it, peeks out the window again, takes off his clothes, slips into a pair of pajamas fresh from the store packaging. He sits on the edge of the bed and dials a phone.
We're sorry. We're sorry. The number you have dialed. Screw you, Clementine, for doing this.
We're sorry. We're sorry. The number you have dialed is no longer in service. If you think you have reached this recording in error.
Bye.
Joel hangs up and lies on his back on the bed. By now, the scene is lifeless, almost a husk. He hears the apartment building door open. He hears footsteps.
It's them. It's too late.
His eyelids are getting heavy. He closes his eyes. Black. He hears a key in his apartment door.
Fuck.
Interior, bookstore, night. Joel sits in the bookstore coffee shop. It's a jarring transition visually and emotionally. Joel is in the midst of some traumatic state of mind. He fingers the vial with the pink pill in it as he watches Clementine stack books on shelves. Her hair is bright orange now.
I should maybe talk to you. Clementine, I should just maybe talk to her.
Joel rises and heads towards Clementine.
I love you. And if you knew that, if I told you what happened, I'll explain everything, what we meant to each other. I'll tell you everything about our time together. You'll know everything again, and maybe if I just explain what happened, I wouldn't have to go through this, and I could tell you everything, and it would be like you knew, and we could rebuild, and we could be happy again. And
Right before Joel gets there, Patrick, a skinny young man, approaches Clementine. Joel stops, watches. The young man seems out of breath. He glances over at Joel and then taps Clementine on the shoulder. She turns, annoyed, sees who it is, and her face lights up.
Clementine, that's your look for me.
Clementine giggles, stands, and pokes Patrick playfully in the ribs.
I just thought I'd say hi. I was in the neighborhood.
You were not.
I was not.
Joel is mesmerized by their familiarity. As he stands there, the scene starts to dry out. Clementine and Patrick continue their flirtation, but it's turning lifeless, as if they are just reciting lines. The bookstore starts to lose its color and immediacy.
Come over after I'm done here.
I can't. I want to, but I have to study.
You rat.
I really want to, but tonight's important. I got a test tomorrow.
How could she have done this to me? How could anyone do this to anyone?
You didn't say anything about my hair.
It's so cool. You're by far the most sensational person in the room.
Just in the room?
In the world.
Joel seems dazed, in some sort of dream confusion, as he realizes the world around him is looking increasingly odd.
What's happening here? Oh
He looks
God,
at his watch.
they'll be here soon.
Joel turns to leave. Interior Joel's car, night. Joel drives fast, recklessly. The intensity is back. He's weeping as he drives.
Gotta get home. How could she do this to me? How could she not care about what we meant to each other? What a fuck. What a fucking monster she is. Oh God, I miss her. I can't believe she's with that guy now. I'm never going to see her again. I love her so much. What a fucking monster she is.
The scene is faded as he parks in front of his apartment building and gets out of the car. Joel spots the parked van. He's seen this before, but it's dried out now.
Them.
Exterior, New York Street, day. Joel trudges along carrying his two big trash bags full of stuff. He's been crying. He looks behind him and finds himself looking out the window of his apartment at the dark van on the snowy street. He turns back to the New York Street and spots the address he was looking for, 610 11th Avenue. Interior waiting room day. Joel sits in the small room with his bags. A woman across from him cradles the box full of belongings in her lap. Her eyes are red from crying. Mary, the receptionist, pokes her head through the window into the waiting room.
Hello again, Mr. Barish. Good, you've got your stuff.
Interior hallway day. Joel walks with his bags behind Mary.
How are you today? Here we are.
Interior laboratory day. Joel enters. Mirzawak stands there with Stan in his lab coat.
Mr. Barris, this is Stan. He'll be in charge of your procedure tonight.
Stan nods professionally.
Mr. Parrish.
How exactly is this going to work tonight?
As Mirzawak talks, the room colors start to fade. Mirzawak's tone of voice is also affected. It becomes dry and monotonous.
Well, let me start with your most recent memories and go backwards. This is an emotional core to each of our memories. As we indicate this core, it starts this degradation process. By the time you wake up in the morning, all memories we're targeted will have withered and disappeared like a dream upon waking.
Is there any sort of risk of brain damage?
Well, technically, the procedure itself is brain damage, but on a par with a night of heavy drinking, nothing you'll miss.
Joel looks quizzically at the eroding environment. Suddenly he gets it.
It's happening now. I'm already in my brain.
Mirzawak looks at the fading room.
Yes, I suppose you are. So let's get started. If we wanted the procedure underway tonight, we have some work to do.
Joel is sitting in a chair. Electrodes connect him to some electronic machinery monitored by Stan. Mirzawak watches from the corner. And Stan says,
Use the articles you brought to create a map of Clementine in your brain. Tonight while you sleep, we'll be able to trace the map and erase.
But you're tracing and erasing now. It's already started. I'm home in my bed.
Stan pulls a snow globe from one of Joel's bags, shows it to Joel. The equipment registers Joel's reaction.
Very good.
Stan pulls out a potato dressed in the Vegas showgirl. Joel studies it. The machine registers his response.
We'll dispose of these mementos when we're done here. That way you won't be confused later by that unexplainable presence in your home.
Stan pulls out a coffee mug with a photo of Clementine printed on it. Joel looks at the mug. The machines record his reaction.
Good. We're getting healthy readouts.
The room, Stan, and Mirzawak are now vague and wispy.
Patrick, do me a favor.
Joel is watching Stan. Stan is not speaking, yet his voice continues.
And check the voltage levels. I'm not wiping as clean as I would like here.
Joel looks up. Stan's voice seems to be coming from above. Interior, Joel's apartment, night. Joel lies on his back in fresh pajamas. His eyes are closed and electrodes connect his head to several machines. The machines are operated by Stan, now in grubby street clothes and in need of a shave, and by Patrick, dressed similarly. The monitor on one of the machines traces a myriad of light blips, running like streams through an image of Joel's brain. Stan presses buttons and operates a joystick, aiming for the lines. Patrick, who we saw earlier with Clementine at the bookstore, studies a meter on one of the machines. And Patrick says,
Voltage looks fine.
Check the connections.
Patrick fiddles with some jacks.
Does that help?
Yeah, that looks better. Thanks.
Interior lab room day. The memory is becoming vague. Characters effects flat. Stan pulls out a pile of loose leaf papers. Mirzawak smiles.
Ah, your journal. This will be inavailable.
December 15th, 2004, I met someone tonight. Oh, Christ. I don't know what to do. Her name is Clementine, and she's amazing. So alive and so spontaneous and passionate and sensitive. Things with Naomi and I have been stagnant for a while, so long.
The scene is just a shell of itself as Stan rattles on.
I think we got this one. Let's push on.
Joel looks up at the ceiling. Interior Joel's apartment day. Joel, snapped into a new memory, cries as he fills two large plastic garbage bags with mementos of his relationship with Clementine. There are funny little gifts, wind-up toys, some potatoes dressed as women, some clothing Clementine has left there, some CDs. He pulls a big clump of pages out of his loose-leaf journals and dumps them in the bag. He gets some clean loose-leaf paper and writes, December 15th, 2004. Nothing much happened today. I stayed home. Naomi worked on her dissertation. The scene is fading as he continues to write. Interior hallway day. Joel looks for an office number. He finds it. The plaque on the door reads, Lacuna Limited, and Joel enters. Interior waiting room day. Joel enters the Lacuna waiting room. Mary sits in the reception area.
May I help you?
My name is Joel Barish. I have an appointment.
Please have a seat. Dr. Mirzwiak will be right with you.
Interior office hall day. Mary leads Joel down the hall.
How are you today?
Not great.
Here we are.
Joel glimpses Mary smiling coquettishly at Mirzawak. Interior, Mirzawak's office day. Joel and Mirzawak are in the sitting area. Joel looks at the tape recorder.
I'm sorry you saw one of our notification cards. You never should have.
Well, I did.
We can help you through this. Why don't you start now by telling me everything you can remember about your relationship with Clementine?
It was a mess. I don't know how it got that way.
And Patrick says,
It's kind of a dump, don't you think?
Joel looks up, trying to locate the voice. Interior, Joel's apartment, night. Patrick is checking out the apartment. Stan monitors the equipment.
It's an apartment.
Not a dump. Then, but kind of plain, uninspired. And there's a stale smell. Sort of stuffy. I don't know, stuffy.
Patrick, let's just get through this. We have a long night ahead of us.
Yeah.
Patrick returns to the bedside, focuses on the machines for a moment, and he glances at the unconscious Joel.
So who do you think is better looking? Me or this guy?
Stan glances sideways at Patrick. Interior, Mirzawak's office day. Mirzawak sits with Joel in the sitting area.
So we'll need you to go home and bring in everything you ever received from Clementine and anything that might remind you of her.
The scene is faded and disappearing fast. It's gone. Interior, Joel's office day. Joel gets off the elevator and approaches the receptionist.
So then she stops calling. I wasn't going to call her, not after the way she was. Any messages, Carmen?
Carmen, the receptionist, shakes her head. Next day, Joel approaches the receptionist.
Any messages for me, Carmen?
And Carmen says,
Nothing, Joel.
It's bullshit. She's punishing me for being honest with her.
Joel is at his office desk at the phone.
You have no new messages.
Interior, Joel's apartment, night. Joel enters, checks his phone machine. 0 messages. Interior, Joel's office day. Joel gets off the elevator, approaches Carmen, who is in conversation with someone else.
Sorry, Carmen. Any messages?
Carmen shakes her head no, goes back to her conversation. Interior, Joel's apartment, night. Joel checks his machine. 0 messages.
That's it. I'm just gonna...
Without a moment's hesitation, he dials a number.
I'm gonna tell her I'm through playing games and...
The number you have dialed has been disconnected.
Joel's eyes bug. Interior, Robin Carey's living room, night. Joel sits across from Robin Carey, mid-40s.
Why would she do that?
If you think you have reached this recording in error, please check your number and dial again.
I don't know, honey. It's horrible. She's punishing me for being honest. I should just go to her house.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think you should go there, Joel.
Yeah, I don't want to seem desperate. I don't know. I can't believe she'd be so goddamn immature.
Joel, look, the thing is.
Joel, honey, we have to feed the dog. Do you just wait here just a second?
Joel nods, confused, as Robin Carey leave the room and close the door behind them. Joel hears a hushed argument ensue in the hall. He notices the dog asleep on the floor, and he grabs a magazine off the coffee table. flips through it distractedly as he paces, puts it down, picks up another. A subscription card falls to the floor. He picks it up and is about to shove it back in the magazine when he sees it is not a subscription card at all. It reads, Klementina Kruzinski has had Joel Barish erased from her memory. Please never mention their relationship to her again. Thank you. Lacuna Limited, 610 11th Avenue, New York, New York. Joel stares at the card, incredulous. Later, Rob and Carrie are now back in the room.
You weren't supposed to see that.
They can't erase memories. It's a joke. It's a nasty Clementine hoax.
Sweetie, we called the company.
Joel just stands there, close up of the vague dictionary page.
Lacuna, noun, a blank, a missing portion, especially in manuscript.
Interior Joel's apartment, night. Joel is on the phone, pacing.
You can't tell her, Joel. They explained that. Like waking a sleepwalker might have a devastating effect.
Interior Joel's car, night. Joel drives past vague local landmarks.
Think about it. To be told you lived an existence of which you have no recollection?
What am I supposed to do?
On, sweetie.
How can I? How am I supposed to move on when I know I'm the only one to carry this love we had? How do I do that?
Interior car, night. Joel in his parked car next to a fence surrounded a drive-in movie, closed for the season. He weeps. The windows fog up until the outside is completely obscured. Exterior New York Street day. Joel looks for an address. Interior elevator day. Joel gets off on the 6th floor. He searches for a room number. As he turns the corner, he sees that the hallway is faded, vague, and mostly erased. He keeps walking, comes to the door marked Lacuna, and opens it. Inside, he can see vague, erased versions of Mary, the receptionist.
Hi, may I help you?
These degraded, faded memories allow Joel to detach himself and hear what's going on in his bedroom.
So Mary's coming over tonight?
Joel looks up. Interior Joel's apartment, night. Stan works the joystick. Patrick sits on the bed with Joel.
Yeah,
I just wanted you to know.
I like Mary. I like when she comes to visit. I just don't think she likes me.
She likes you, okay?
I wonder if I should invite my girlfriend over too. I have a girlfriend now.
You can if you want.
Did I tell you I have a new girlfriend?
This one's history. Moving on.
The thing is, my situation's a little weird. I mean, my girlfriend situation.
Patrick, we need to focus.
Stan aims the joystick. Interior Joel's apartment, night. Joel distractedly reads a book, checks the clock, goes back to the book. The door opens. He looks up. Clementine is staggering in, drunk.
Yo ho ho!
It's 3. Shit, the last time I saw you.
Anywho, sweetie, I done that thing. I kind of sort of wrecked your car.
I can't believe you wrecked my car. Your car. You're driving drunk. It's pathetic.
I was a little tipsy. Don't call me pathetic.
Well, it is pathetic and fucking irresponsible. You could have killed somebody.
The scene is starting to degrade. The acting becomes anemic.
I don't know. Maybe you did kill somebody.
Christ, I didn't kill anybody. It's just a fucking dent. You're like some old lady or something.
Right. She called me an old lady here too. And like some old, remember, I said lady or something. And what? Are you like a wino?
A wino? Jesus, what are you from the 50s? A wino. I mean, face it, Joel, you're freaked out because I was out late without you. And in your little wormy brain, you're trying to figure out, did she fuck someone tonight?
No, see, Clem, I assume you fucked someone tonight. Isn't that how you get people to like you?
This shuts Clementine up. She's stung, and she starts gathering up her belongings, which are strewn about the apartment. Joel is immediately sorry he said this. He follows her around.
I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean that. I was just pissed, I guess.
Clementine is out the door. Joel follows. Exterior street night. Joel looks at his dented car, looks at Clementine clumping off in the distance. Interior Joel's car. Joel drives to catch up to Clementine. He rolls down his window to talk to her.
Let me drive you home.
Fuck you, Joel.
Look at it out here. It's falling apart. I'm erasing you. And I'm happy.
She keeps clomping.
You did it to me. I can't believe you did this to me. By morning, you'll be gone. Huh.
Okay.
He stops the car, gets out. Exterior street continuous. It's a street you might see in a dream. More an impression of a quiet street than an actual one. With that little detail, what little detail there is obscured in darkness. Joel wanders it. In the distance, Clementine walks off, but as in an animated loop, she doesn't get any further away. It's lonely.
See, remember that girl? The one we did last week? The one with the potatoes?
Joel looks up, startled.
Yeah, that's this guy's girlfriend. Was.
Interior Joel's apartment, night. Stan watches the screen. Patrick paces, fidgets, looks at the unconscious Joel.
I gotta tell you something. I kind of fell in love with her that night.
She was unconscious, Patrick.
She was so beautiful, so sweet and funky and voluptuous. I kind of stole a pair of her panties. Is what?
Jesus, Patrick.
Exterior street night. On the vague street, Joel listens to Patrick and Stan.
I know. It's not like, I mean, they were clean and all.
Look, just don't tell me this stuff. I don't want to know this crap.
Yeah, okay.
We have work to do.
There's a click, and Joel finds himself in interior Joel's apartment, night. Joel and Clementine sit and eat dinner in front of the TV. It's hard to make out what they're watching. They sit on opposite ends of the couch. They look forward. The scene quickly degenerates. The room fades.
Okay. But there's more.
Joel listens.
After we did her, I went to where she worked and I asked her out.
Joel looks over at the faded Clementine across the couch. She stares straight ahead at the TV.
Patrick, do you know how unethical?
That must be the guy I saw you with. In the bookstore that night? The skinny guy.
There's a click, and Joel finds himself in interior Joel's apartment, night. Joel watches TV. Clementine walks by in her underwear, looks at the TV. She slips into a skirt.
How can you watch this crap?
Where are you going?
I am fucking crawling out of my skin.
The scene starts to fade. Clementine puts on her shoes and heads out the door. Exterior zoo, day. Joel and Clementine walk around unhappily. They barely look at the animals. Clementine watches parents with babies.
Oh, shit. I remember this. Want to go?
I want to have a baby.
Let's talk about it later.
No, I want to have a baby. I have to have a baby.
I don't think we're ready.
You're not ready.
Clementine, do you really think you could take care of a kid?
She turns violently towards him, glaring.
What?
I don't want to talk about this here.
Joel, we're gonna fucking talk about it.
Joel looks around. People are watching.
You don't get to fucking say something like that and then say you don't want to talk about it.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have.
I would make a fucking good mother, okay? I love children. I am creative and smart, and I would make a fucking good mother.
The scene starts to fade. Clementine's rant continues, but becomes attenuated and vague.
Thank God. It's going.
It's you who can't commit to anything. You have no idea how lucky you are that I'm interested in you. I don't even know why I am. I should just end it right here, Joel. Maybe leave you in the 200. Maybe I could go find a nice sloth to go hang out with.
She's crying now, but it's almost animatronic. No real emotion in it. The scene is a husk.
It's going, Clementine. All the crap and hurt and disappointment, it's being wiped away.
I'm glad.
She looks up at him.
Me too.
Their eyes lock. She's fading before his eyes. Interior, bar, night. It's noisy and crowded. Joel and Clementine sit at a small table. She's drunk and staring off blankly.
So,
Would you get me another, Jolie?
Joel sighs, stands, and heads to the crowded bar.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Joel is at the bar, trying to get the bartender's attention. Joel is paying the bartender. He turns with the drink to head back to the table. He sees Clementine flirting with a man in Joel's seat. Joel is at the table. Clementine looks up from her conversation.
Joel, this is Mark. He likes my boobs. He came over special just to tell me that. Isn't that nice? He doesn't think I'm fat.
The scene starts to fade. Mark rises.
I didn't know she was with somebody, man.
It's okay, Mark. Joel doesn't like my boobs. I don't think he likes girls.
The bar gets quiet and vague.
you're drunk.
You're a whiz kid. So perceptive. So
Clementine keeps talking, but there are no more intelligible words, just a whisper like a breeze. Our doorbell buzzes. Joel looks up. Interior, Joel's apartment, night. Patrick opens the door. Mary stands there with it in a winter coat, carrying a backpack.
Oh, hey, Patrick.
Hi, Mary. How's it going?
She walks in past him.
Hey, you.
Stan and Mary kiss. She looks down at Joel as she takes off her coat.
Freezing out.
You found us okay?
Yeah. Poor guy. We have anything to drink?
We haven't checked.
Well, allow me to do the honors. It's fucking freezing and I need something.
She heads into the kitchen. Stan turns back to monitor the slivers of light.
Mary hates me.
Maybe if you
I've never been-
stop stealing their panties.
Oh.
Okay, there's more, Stan.
Stan looks over at Patrick. Mary returns with a bottle of scotch and 2 glasses.
Hey.
She pours a whiskey.
Oh, Patrick, you didn't want any, did you?
Nah, I don't know.
Mary hands a glass to Stan. She holds hers up in a toast.
Blessed are the forgetful, for they get the better even of their blunders.
Mary and Stan click glasses.
Nietzsche, beyond good and evil, founded in my Bartlett's.
Good one.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell Howard. It seems really appropriate.
It's a little good one, all right.
What's your Bartlett?
It's a quote book.
I love quotes. So did Winston Churchill. He actually has a quotation in Bartlett's about Bartlett's. Isn't that trippy?
Yeah, cool.
The quotations, when engraved upon the memory, give you good thoughts.
Very cool. Trippy.
I like to read what smart people say. So many beautiful, important things.
Yeah.
Don't you think Howard's like that? Smart, important?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think he'll be in Bartlett someday.
Stan focuses on his monitor. Mary pours herself another drink.
Definitely.
Interior Joel's bedroom night. It's dark. Joel and Clementine are in bed. The memory is already in the midst of being erased. Clementine is talking in a monotonous, robotic manner.
Can I mute? You don't tell me things, Joel. I'm an open book. I tell you everything. Every damn embarrassing thing. You don't trust me.
No, it isn't that.
I want to know you.
I just don't have anything very interesting about my life.
Joel, you're a liar.
The scene is faded completely now, and Joel just lies there for a moment, registering Clementine's statement. Interior Chinese restaurant, night. Joel and Clementine eat dinner in silence. Joel looks around at other couples in the restaurant. Some seem happy and engaged. Others seem bored with each other. He turns back to his food.
How's the chicken? Is that like us? Are we just bored with each other?
Looks good.
He watches her as she downs her wine and pours herself another glass. She holds the wine bottle up to Joel.
More?
No, thanks.
There's a silence.
How's the fish?
The scene is fading.
It's good.
They continue to eat in silence as the scene dissolves.
Fine.
And
Hey,
Pat-
Clementine. Why, what's wrong? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sure. I kind of have to study for my test.
Interior Joel's apartment night. Patrick is on the phone next to Joel's bed. Stan watches the lights on the computer screen.
Hold on. Let me ask my friend. Stan, can I leave for a while? My girlfriend is very.
Patrick, we're in the middle of a.
She's right in the neighborhood. She's upset.
Mary is in the kitchen. She pokes her head out. She's got some pie on a plate.
Let him go, Stan. I can help.
Okay, go.
Mary hates me. I'll be right over, Tangerine.
Interior Clementine's apartment night. Candles are lit. Joel and Clementine are under a blanket on the living room rug, listening to music.
Hey, Jolie.
Yeah, Tangerine?
You know the Velveteen Rabbit?
No.
It's my favorite book. Since I was a kid, it's about these toys, and there's this part where the skin horse tells the rabbit what it means to be real. I cannot believe I'm crying already. He says it takes a long time, and that's why it doesn't often happen to people who break easily or have sharp edges or who have to be carefully kept. Because generally, by the time you're real, most of your hair has been loved off and your eyes drop out and you get loose in the joints and very shabby, but these things don't matter because once you're real, you can't be ugly, except to people who don't understand.
She's weeping. Joel is stroking her hair. They kiss and begin to make love under the blanket. It's sweet and gentle, and then it starts to fade.
No, Jesus, no.
He looks down, and Clementine's tear-streaked face is fading. She continues as if she's still being made love to, even though Joel is completely beside himself. He jumps up naked and yells at the ceiling.
Please, I've changed my mind. I don't want this. Wake me up. Stop the procedure, please.
Interior Joel's apartment night. Joel is unconscious on the bed, completely still. Mary and Stan watch the monitor and smoke a joint. After a silence,
What do you think about it, Mary?
It's
Because
amazing,
Mary-
isn't it? Such a gift Howard has given the world
yeah, it is.
to let people begin again. It's beautiful. You look at a baby and it's so fresh, so clean, so free. And adults, they're like this messy tangle of anger, and phobias, and sadness, hopelessness. And Howard just makes them all go away.
You love him, don't you?
Mary seems surprised, taken aback, caught. She's silent for a long moment.
No. Besides, Howard's married, Stan. He's a very serious and ethical man. I'm not going to tempt him to betray all he believes in.
Ben
Have
takes
another hit.
another drag of the joint and passes it to Mary.
Exterior street night. Patrick, bundled up and carrying a full backpack, trudges through the snow. Interior Clementine's apartment. Clementine watches out the window as Patrick nears. She's crying. He makes his way up to her front stairs. She swings open the door and hugs him.
Oh, baby, what's going on?
I don't know. I'm lost. I'm scared. I feel like I'm disappearing. I'm getting old and nothing makes any sense to me.
Oh, Tangerine.
Nothing makes any sense. Nothing makes any sense.
She pushes herself out of the embrace and looks at Patrick.
Coming up to Boston with me?
Sure. Yeah, let's go next weekend.
No, now. I have to go now. I have to see the Frozen Charles now, tonight.
Okay. I'll call my study partner.
Yeah, it'll be great. I'll get my stuff.
She runs into the bedroom. Patrick is at the phone and realizes he doesn't know Joel's number. After a moment's thought, he 69s, the phone rings.
Hi, it's Joel. Please leave a message after the beep.
Beep.
Stan, it's Patrick. Pick up.
Hey, where are you?
I got into this situation with the old lady. Can you handle things tonight alone? I'm really sorry, man.
Interior Joel's apartment. Stan is on the phone. He's really stoned and watches Mary, stoned herself, dancing in a sexy trance to something soft and low on the stereo.
He can handle it. He's pretty much on autopilot anyways.
Interior Clementine's apartment.
Thanks, Stan. I owe you.
Patrick hangs up, rifles quickly through his backpack. He pulls out a silver bracelet, puts it in his pocket, and then pulls out a journal, flips through it, keeping an eye on the bedroom door. The handwriting is a woman's. He finds what he's looking for. He reads,
I took Joel to walk on Charles River with me last night. It was so beautiful and charming. Joel was nervous about stepping out onto the ice, but he wanted to please me so much. He's so sweet that he came out after me. We lay down right in the center and watched the stars. He took my hand and he said, I could.
Exterior Charles River night. Joel and Clementine lie together holding hands on the frozen river. They look up at the stars.
Die right now. Clem, I'm just happy. I've never felt that before. I'm just exactly where I want to be.
Clementine looks over at him. Her eyes are filled with love and tears. Then they get vague. The scene is being erased. Joel is panicked.
Clem, no, this can't be happening, please. Oh, fuck, please.
Crazily, Joel runs off, passing through a series of decayed scenes. He and Clementine arguing in a car, having sex on the beach, laughing and holding hands at a movie, eating grilled cheese and tomato soup together in bed. Joel watching her sleep, then drinking at a bar. He arrives at a decayed version of his first meeting with Mirzawat.
We can help you through this. Why don't you start now by telling me everything you can remember about
You have to stop this.
What? What do you mean?
I'm trapped in my head and everything I love is being erased. Stop it now.
Yes, but I'm just something you're imagining. What can I do? I'm in your head too.
Interior Clementine's apartment, night. Patrick reads the journal.
And we made love right on the ice. It was absolutely freezing on my ass, but it was wonderful.
Clementine enters, dressed for the cold. Patrick puts the notebook away.
I am so excited. Yay!
I'm excited too. And I wanted to give you this. It's a little thing.
Patrick pulls a bracelet from his pocket, hands it to her.
I didn't have a chance to wrap it.
It's gorgeous. Just my taste, too. I have never gone out with a guy who bought me a piece of jewelry I liked. Thank you. So let's get going. Long drive.
Interior Joel's apartment, night. Stan and Mary have sex on the floor next to Joel's bed. Exterior forest, day. Joel and Clementine are hiking. Clementine in front.
Such a beautiful view.
Yes, indeed. Fuck, they're erasing you. Clem,
Oh?
I hired them to. We're in my brain. I wanted to stop before I wake up and don't know you anymore.
Wow. Well, can't you just, force yourself awake?
Don't know.
He concentrates. Nothing happens.
It's horrible. I'm cracked.
He starts to have a fit, banging against trees, storming his feet, screaming. But even while he's doing this, the memory and Clementine are fading around him. Interior, Joel's apartment, day. It's raining out. Joel is reading, slouched in a chair. He looks over at Clementine, stretched out on her belly in her underwear. She's reading too.
She's so sexy. I loved you on this day. I love this memory. The rain. Us just hanging out.
Clementine looks over at him, smiles. Her brow furrows in thought.
What if you hide me?
What do you mean?
Well, if they're looking for me in memories I'm in, what if you take me to a memory I'm not in? And we can hide there until morning.
Joel ponders this. The scene and Clementine are beginning to dissolve. Joel grabs Clementine's hand. She giggles with glee. He pulls her out of the scene as it degrades.
Where? Where? Where?
He drags her through the landscape of already decayed memories and turns off into interior, kitchen, day. The kitchen is dated and vague. Joel and Clementine are in an oversized playpen. They're adults, but small. Joel wears footsie pajamas and some vague little animals on them. He holds a red, furry huckleberry hound doll. Clementine is still in her panties and bra. An oversized woman in high heels, seen from a low angle, hurries back and forth preparing dinner.
Jesus, what is this?
Joel looks around at the kitchen, at his doll, at the woman.
I must be about 2. I want my mommy. She's busy. She's not looking at me. Look, my Huckleberry hound doll. I told you about this. I want my mommy.
He starts to cry. Clementine tries to comfort him. She hugs him.
I want my mommy. I don't want to lose you, Clem.
I'm right here.
I'm scared. I want my mommy. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose.
Jolie, look! It's not fading. The memory. I think we're hidden.
Joel sucks in some snot. His mother scurries back and forth, clanging pots. The room is not decaying. Joel smiles. Interior, Joel's bedroom, night. Stan and Mary lie on the floor, their stoned minds wandering after sex. Stan suddenly perks up. He looks at the monitor.
It stopped.
What?
Listen, it's not erasing.
He makes his way, naked, to the computer screen.
It's not erasing. He's off the screen.
Where?
I don't know. He's not on the map.
Stan tries to break through his marijuana haze. He fiddles nervously with the equipment.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Crap, crap.
Well, what should we do?
I don't know. I just said that.
Oh, sorry. We have to do something. He can't wake up half done.
Oh, crap.
Ugh.
He jerks the joystick spastically. Mary, also naked, gets up and looks over his shoulder at the screen.
Okay, we should call Howard.
And this is the beginning of page 63.
Oh, thank you, Vicky. At the end of page 60, we're supposed to take our intermission, and this is also a cliffhanger of what's going to happen, so this is a good point. So, as I don't know if Petra's going dun dun dun.
Dun, dun,
But
dun.
we will take a break here. What time is it? The 36? Should we come back at 45?
Yeah, that's good.
Concurred.
All right, see you guys at 45. All right, have a
45
good
alive.
bathroom break, a good cigarette break, a good drink, meal, etc.
want to see another guy. Hold on, I want you in my face, so that's not here. Nah.
Yeah, as Petro was saying in the chat, you guys are doing so good. Or is it, I don't know, Mackenzie. Mackenzie is saying everybody's doing so good and stuff. And so that obviously like overtook me too. I'm just reading along, not paying attention to page 60, not needing an intermission because I'm just watching it. Right. So, is everybody back?
Is everybody ready for diving? Yay! Anyway.
Right. This seems like it's mainly me, Mackenzie, and I are first. All right. Then, Vicky, when you're ready, we'll start at the beginning of page 63.
Okay.
Oops, what the, hold up. Okay. There we go.
Stan turns and looks at her. He's stoned and trying to understand her motivation.
No way. I can handle this.
This guy's only half cooked. There's no time to fuck around, Stan.
Stan tries to think. He paces. Mary watches him. Finally,
Okay.
he dials the phone, waits.
Hello, Howard?
Interior, Mirzawak's bedroom. The room is dark. A groggy Mirzawak is in bed on the phone. His wife lies beside him, eyes open, listening.
Stan, what's going on?
The guy we're doing, he disappeared from the map. I can't find him anywhere.
Okay, what happened right before he disappeared?
I was away from the monitor for a second. I had it on automatic. I had to go pee.
Well, where was Patrick?
He went home sick.
Jesus. All right. What's the address?
1062 Sherman Drive, apartment IE, Rockville Center.
Mirzawak writes it down on a bedside notepad. He hangs up. Interior, Joel's apartment, night. Stan hangs up the phone, looks at Mary.
He's coming?
You better go.
Hell no.
She starts getting dressed.
Shit, I'm so stoned. I don't want him to see me stoned. Stop being stoned, Mary.
She hurries into the bathroom with her bag.
God, I look like shit. God.
Mary slams the bathroom door. Stan puts his head in his hands. Interior, kitchen, day. Joel and Clementine are in the playpen. Joel's oversized mother reaches down as she hurries by and pats Joel on the head.
How's my baby boy?
She's gone.
I really want her to pick me up. It's weird how strong that desire is.
Clementine holds his hand. He looks over at her.
You know, we're okay. They're not finding us. You'll remember me in the morning, and then you'll come to me and you'll tell me about us and we'll start over.
I loved you so much this day. On my bed in your panties. Remember, I thought how impossibly lucky I am to have you on my bed in your panties.
She kisses him.
You remember what happened next?
I came over to the bed and you smelled so good, like you just woke up, slightly sweaty. And I climbed on the bed with you and said something like,
Another rainy day, whatever shall we do?
He laughs. She unbuttons his pajamas. They begin to make love. Joel's mother hurries around the kitchen. Joel stops, looks at Clementine.
There's this guy.
What?
There's this guy. I heard him talking in my apartment. He's one of the eraser guys. And he fell for you when they were erasing you. So he introduced himself the next day as if you were a stranger and now you're dating him.
Really? Is he cute?
He stole a pair of your panties while you were being erased.
Oh, gross! Okay, you have to remember to tell me this in the morning. I'm like so freaked out right now.
Interior, Clementine's car, night. It's a rust bucket. Clementine drives through the snow. She's crying and holding Patrick's hand.
What is wrong with me?
Nothing's wrong with you. You're the most wonderful person I ever met.
She glances gratefully over at him, then starts to cry even harder. Interior, Joel's bedroom, night. Stan works on trying to get the signal back. His hair is combed, he's dressed neatly, looks professional, but still stoned. Mary's pacing nervously to and from the window, looking out into the night. She's dressed also, and she's wearing more makeup now. Her hair is pulled up into some sort of style, and suddenly she freezes at the window.
There he is. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Do I look okay?
Stan doesn't say anything.
I'm still stoned. Are you? Crap.
She looks in the mirror.
Your Visine didn't do shit, fella.
The doorbell buzzes. Mary lunges for the door, then calms herself before opening it. Mirzawak, holding an equipment bag, looks surprised.
Mary, what are you doing here?
She came to help, Howard.
I wanted to learn as much about the procedure as possible, Howard. I think it's important for my job to help comfort the clientele, you know.
Mirzak looks at Mary to stand, nods, and enters. Mary closes the door. Mirzak crosses to the equipment.
Let's get to the bottom of this, shall we?
He sits down in front of the computer and does some fiddling.
This is odd.
He fiddles some more. Mary looks on, fascinated.
I tried that already.
Did you try going through Seagate?
Yeah, of course.
Mirzak ponders. He unzips his equipment bag, pulls out another laptop computer, and plugs it into the system.
I'm going to do a spectrum search throughout his memory, see if anything comes up.
The doctor presses some more buttons. The program starts up. A much more complex and detailed human brain appears on this screen. It rotates. Eventually, he sees a small distant light in the brain. He zeroes in on it.
Okay, here it is. I don't know why it's off the map like that, but
Interior kitchen day. Joel is being bathed in the oversized sink by his oversized mother. Clementine sits in the water with him, laughing. The mother doesn't seem to see her.
Little baby getting all clean. All clean. Aw.
I love getting bathed in the sink. It's such a feeling of security.
I've never seen you happier.
The elements of the scene flash explosively away. Joel's mother, his Huckleberry Hound doll, the details of the kitchen, Clementine. Joel is thrown into interior car night. He sits with Clementine in the parked car. Outside a drive-in movie theater. The movie on the giant screen is partially obscured by a fence. Joel and Clementine drink wine. Interior Joel's bedroom night. Mirzak looks up from the computer screen.
well, thank you, Mary. Okay, we're back in.
That was beautiful to watch, Howard. Like a surgeon or a concert pianist.
Well, thank you, Mary.
Sleep, Howard. I'll take it from here.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Interior car night. Clementine and Joel laugh as they try to give voice to what the characters on the screen are saying.
But can't you see? I love you, Antoine.
Don't call me Antoine. My name is Wally.
Yes, but I cannot love a man named Wally.
She starts to fade. The scene starts to fade. Joel remembers their previous plan.
They found us before. The plan didn't work. I don't know what to do now.
Hide me somewhere deeper, somewhere buried.
Joel grabs her. They run off just as the scene decays into a husk behind them. Interior Joel's bedroom, night. Stan is back at the controls. Mirzak's at the door with Mary.
Howard, they've disappeared again.
Oh dear.
I'm so sorry, Howard. You must be tired.
He nods distractedly. She smiles to herself as he heads back to the equipment. Exterior schoolyard, afternoon. Joel, now the size of a junior high school kid and dressed accordingly, is peering around the corner of the school building towards the bike rack. Clementine is with him, dressed as she was in the parked car.
Look at you, you little cutie. What are we doing?
This kid, Joe Early, is going to beat the shit out of me. I'm terrified. I thought if I hung around the art room long enough, he'd go home and I could get my bike.
They head towards the bike rack. Joel's is the only bike remaining.
Oh,
They're at the bike rack, and a bunch of kids, including giant fat Joe Early, come around the corner.
Hi, Jill. Calls me Jill. Everyone calls me Jill after this.
The other kids laugh.
Just shut up, Joe. I'm going home. I don't think so. We're fighting. I don't want to fight you.
The kids start chanting, "Fight, fight, fight." Joe Early throws a wild punch that hits Joel in the side. Joel falls and stays down, covering himself.
Come on, Jill. Get up. Come on.
Joel doesn't say anything. He peeks and humiliated at Clementine. She's watching this. She's got a tear in her eye. She kneels down beside him, puts her arm around him.
I'm too scared to even throw a punch. When I tell people this story, I leave that part out.
The scene flashes violently to white and is gone. Interior, Joel's apartment, night. Mirzawak is at the machines.
Got him back, Stan. I think I'm just going to have to get through this manually. We're running late.
Exterior, beach, day. It's cold. Joel and Clementine walk, all bundled up. She points at a house up at the beach.
Our house. Our house.
She runs ahead, laughing. The scene is decaying. Joel chases after her.
Clem, come on. We've got to hide you, remember?
He grabs her arm and yanks, and they're in. Interior, boys' bedroom, night. It's dark. Joel, junior high school size, is in bed masturbating. Clementine is in there too, in her winter coat, still laughing from before. She realizes what's going on.
Joel.
I don't like it either, but I'm just trying to find a horrible secret place to...
Joel's mother pops her head in the door.
Joel, I was just... Oh, I'll ask you in the morning, honey. Have a good night.
The mother backs out, closes the door. Joel cringes. Clementine laughs, still in the mode of the memory she was swiped from. Flash! It's all gone. Interior, restaurant, night. Joel and Clementine are laughing as she blows out the candle on a slice of cheesecake in front of her. Joel hands her a small wrap box.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Jolie. A present. Ahoy.
She pulls out a bracelet. It's the same bracelet Patrick gave her.
Oh, Joel, it's beautiful. I mean, you are the first guy who ever bought me a piece of jewelry I could honestly say that about.
He notices she's starting to fade.
I scoured the city for it.
I love it.
She leans across the table to kiss him. He grabs her and runs through the decaying scene and into the vague night. Exterior, suburban street, day. Joel is one of a group of 5-year-olds. He holds a hammer and is poised to hit a dead bird in a red wagon. The other boys are goading him.
Come on, Joel. You have to. Do it already.
Joel doesn't want to. Clementine watches.
I can. I have to go home. I'll do it later. I didn't want to do this, but I had to, or if they would have called me a girl.
Joel miserably smashes the bird repeatedly with the hammer. Red jelly guts cover the hammer and the wagon bottom, the kids' food.
I can't believe I did that. I'm so ashamed.
A live bird watches from a tree. Clementine, still dressed for her birthday dinner, wearing her new bracelet, pulls Joel away from the other boys. The two of them walk down Joel's suburban street.
Hey, you were a little kid.
Beach.
This is a great birthday present, by the way. Getting to see you as a boy.
She kisses him, and they walk holding hands.
That's where I lived.
Joel looks down at her hand. It's fading. The bracelet is gone. Clementine is gone. His childhood house is gone. Interior, Joel's bedroom, night. Mirzawak works equipment. He has located a small area of light in the brain imaging and eradicates them.
I'm getting the hang of it. I still understand it, but I'm finding him quickly enough. I'm hopefully there won't be too much peripheral eradication.
Mary sits on the bed.
I like watching you work.
Stan sighs, grabs his coat.
I'm gonna go out for a smoke, if no one minds.
That's fine, Stan.
Mary doesn't say anything. Stan huffs and is out the door. Mirzawak continues to find and erase points of light. Mary gets up her courage to speak.
You like quotes, Howard?
How do you mean?
Like famous quotes. I find reading them inspirational to me. And in my reading, I've come across some I thought you might like too.
I'd love to hear some.
Mary is thrilled, beside herself. She tries to calm down.
Okay, there's one that goes, Blessed are the forgetful, for they get the better even of their blunders.
Is that Nitsawish?
Nietzsche? Yeah, it is, Howard. And here I was thinking I could tell you something you didn't know.
It's a good quote, Mary. I'm glad we both know it.
He smiles at her. She's flattered.
There's another one I like. I read. There's another one I like. I read it. It's by Pope Alexander.
Alexander Pope.
Yes. Oh shit. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. It's just I told myself I wasn't gonna say Pope Alexander and sound like a dope, and then I go ahead and do it. Like I psyched myself out. Okay.
No big deal.
He was such a sweetheart.
There's an embarrassed moment as a line hangs in the air. And then Mary plunges ahead to bury it.
Anyway, the quote goes, "How happy is the blameless Vestal's lot, the world forgotten by the world forgot, eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, each prayer accepted and each wish resigned."
She smiles, proud and embarrassed.
That's lovely.
Really? I thought it was appropriate. Maybe that's all. I really admire the work you do. I know it's not proper to be so familiar, but I guess since we're outside the workplace, I feel a certain liberty to.
It's fine, Mary. I'm happy to hear it.
Okay, good, great. Thanks. I like you, Howard, an awful lot. Is that terrible?
Mirzak seems momentarily taken aback, then returns to his unflappable self.
You're a wonderful girl, Mary.
She leans over and kisses him, then pulls away quickly.
I've loved you for a long time. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
I got a wife, Mary, kids. You know that.
I wish I was your wife. I wish I had your kids.
Mirzak comforts her with a hug. It turns into a kiss. He pulls away.
We can't do this.
No, you're right. Once again, you're a decent man, Howard.
He smiles sadly at her. She smiles courageously at him.
I want you to know it's because I'm not interested, if that means anything.
They look at each other for a long while, and then Howard goes back to locating and eradicating blips of light. Exterior, Joel's apartment building, night. Stan sits in the van and smokes a cigarette. He has an unobstructed view into Joel's bedroom window. He watches Mirzak and Mary. They're talking as Howard works. It appears to be a very serious discussion. A car pulls up outside. Stan turns to see. A middle-aged woman gets out, checks the address on Joel's building, approaches the only lit window, watches Mirzak and Mary inside. Mirzak's resolve has apparently weakened, and he and Mary kiss again. This time it leads to groping, partial undressing, and falling in onto the bed alongside the unconscious Joel. The woman in the window is transfixed as Mirzak fumbles to unzip his pants. He catches sight of the woman in the window. He practically shrieks and jumps up. Exterior, country road day. Joel and Clementine, walking hand in hand, look up simultaneously. Into Joel's bedroom. Mary looks confused at Howard.
What?
She follows his eyes and sees the woman in the window, who turns and walks off in a huff.
Oh my God.
He is already in his coat. He's out the door. Exterior, Joel's apartment building. The woman is at her car. Stan watches from the road, and the doctor is hurrying to the woman.
How is?
Oh, I knew it, Howard. I don't even know why I bothered to copy the darn address.
It didn't start out to be this. I came here to work. It's a one-time mistake.
Mary is right behind him now. Hollis is in her car.
Mrs. Murziak, it's true, and it's not Mr. Murziak's fault. I'm a stupid little girl with a stupid little crush. I basically forced him into it. I swear.
Hollis turns, looks at Mary, and then at her husband.
Don't be a monster, Howard. Tell the girl.
Stan is out of the van now, listening. Mary shivers in the cold, hugs herself. There's a long silence. Then,
Tell me what?
Hollis and her husband have locked eyes. Mary looks back and forth between them. Hollis starts her car.
Poor kid. You can have him. You did.
She drives off. Mary watches Howard with increased foreboding.
What, Howard?
We have a history. I'm sorry. You wanted the procedure. You want it done. To get it passed, I have to finish in there. It's almost morning. We'll talk later.
He shuffles inside. Mary stands there, unable to digest this, struggling in vain to remember. Stan watches.
Let me take you home.
Mary shakes her head no. She walks off, dazed. Exterior, Charles River night. Clementine and Patrick lie on their backs on the frozen river and look up at the night sky.
Ugh. I could die right now, Clem. I'm just so happy. I never felt that before. I'm just exactly where I want to be.
Clementine looks over at him. Their eyes meet. She sobs.
I want to go home.
She hurries towards the shore, slips on the ice, gets up, and continues, now running. Interior, commuter train, night. Mary, in shock, sits in the empty fluorescent car. She tries to look out the window, but can only see her own reflection. Interior, Joel's bedroom, night. It's deathly silent, as Mirzwak and Stan work on completing the job. The doctor locates a light hidden very deep in the map of Joel's brain. He targets it. Exterior, rowboat, day. Joel, the sight of a 10-year-old, sits fishing with his oversized father. Clementine is naked and in the boat too. She's reading the play by Stephen Dixon.
I love this boat, Joel. Thank you so much for telling me about it.
Joel is his father. The father is drunk and sullen. He faces away from Joel, looks out at the lake.
Don't be like me, son. Don't waste your life. You'll come to a point someday where it'll be too late. You'll be sewn into your fate. It was horrifying seeing my father like that. There was no hope for me in his life. If his life was such a failure. He saw failure in me too, written in my future.
Clementine watches the frightened, confused Joel.
Joel, you're not sewn in. He's wrong.
And there'll be nowhere to go except where you're headed, like a train on a track. Inevitable, unalterable.
The scene pops out of existence with a flash of light. Interior, Chinese restaurant, night. Joel finds himself eating Chinese food and sitting across from Clementine. He is ragged and jarred.
I'm done, Clem. I'm just going to ride it out. Hiding is clearly not working.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy my little time left with you.
This was our first date.
Do you remember what we talked about?
Naomi, I guess.
Yeah.
What was I wearing?
God, I should know. Her hair was red. I remember it matched the wallpaper.
Egad, were you horrified?
No. I think you were wearing that black dress, with the buttons.
She is wearing the black dress.
No, you were with me when I bought that. That little place on East 6th. It was later.
Interior dress shop, day. The scene has already been erased. It's just a decayed husk. A vague Joel watches a vague Clementine model a black dress. Interior restaurant night. Clementine wears a generic black dress now.
Right. Something black, though.
I'll buy that. Black's always good.
We did talk about Naomi.
I said, are you sure? You seem unsure.
I'm sure, I said.
But you weren't. I could tell.
I was so nervous. I remember I couldn't think of anything to say. There were long silences.
There is a long silence.
I thought I was foolish. I thought I'd mistaken infatuation for love. You said.
So what? Infatuation's good too.
And I didn't have an argument.
Interior car night. Joel and Clementine pull up to Clementine's house.
I dropped you off after. You said.
Come up and see me now.
It's very late.
Yes, exactly. Exactly my point.
Interior Clementine's apartment night. Joel and Clementine are in the midst of awkward, shy sex.
This was our first time.
The scene starts to fade. Joel watches Clementine disappear. Interior, Lucona reception area night. Mary enters the dark room, frazzled. She flips on the fluorescent lights and searches the file folders, finds one with her name on it. Her jaw drops. With a shaky hand, she puts the tape into the player on her desk and presses play.
Okay, so just tell me what you remembered, and we'll take it from there.
I liked you immediately at the job interview. You seemed so important and mature. And I loved you were helping all these people. You didn't come on to me at all. I liked that. I was so tongue-tied around you at first. I wanted you to think I was smart. You were so nice. I loved the way you smelled. I couldn't wait to come to work. I had all these fantasies of us being married and having kids and just... And so then, one day, when I thought you looked at me like, oh, Howie, I can't do this. How can I do this?
It's what's this, Mary.
Mary slumps to the floor. We move into her eyes.
Yeah, I know. Oh, God. Okay. Well, I was so excited.
A series of murky images, no detail. A flirtatious look from Merzouak.
Remember you bought me that little wind-up frog?
A vague shot of a wind-up toy frog.
You said...
A vague shot of Merzouak mouthing to Mary's voice.
This is for your desk. Just a little token.
Back to Mary sitting on the floor, listening to the tape.
I knew then. I knew something was going to happen. Something wonderful.
Interior Joel's apartment night. Joel sits in the quiet living room. The scene is fading.
Naomi. On the couch, dark, quiet. I wondered if I had made a terrible mistake. I almost reached for the phone about 1,000 times. I thought I could take it back, erase it, explain I had momentarily lost my mind. Then I told myself we weren't happy. That was the truth. That what we were was safe. It was unfair to you and to me to stay in a relationship for that reason. I thought about Clementine and the spark when I was with her. Then I thought, what you and I had was real and adult and therefore significant, and even if it wasn't that much fun, but I wanted fun. I saw other people having fun and I wanted it. Then I thought fun is a lie. That no one's really having fun. I'm being suckered by advertising and movie bullshit. Then I thought maybe not. Maybe not. And then I thought, as I always do at this point in my argument, about dying.
Interior room day. An elderly man sits.
I projected myself to the end of my life in some vague rendition of my old man self. I imagined looking back with a tremendous hole of regret in my heart.
Interior Joel's apartment night. Joel sits.
I didn't pick up the phone to call you, Naomi. I didn't pick up the phone.
The scene dissolves. Interior Joel's apartment day. Naomi is red-eyed from crying. She's packing things in boxes. Joel paces, steals glances at her, doesn't know what to say. She holds up a book. The scene starts to fade.
Yours?
You take it. I don't know.
She tosses it in a box.
Naomi, I really value our relationship. I hope it's possible for us to stay in touch.
Don't do this to me now, Joel. Really?
Interior Joel's bedroom day. Joel watches out the window as Naomi stuffs a final box in the trunk of a car. There's another woman down there with her. They get into the car and drive off. Interior, Borders bookstore, night. Joel talks to Clementine. The scene is fogging over.
I told her today I need to end it.
Is that what you want?
I did it. I guess that means something.
Clementine shrugs. The scene fades. Exterior, park, day. Joel walks with Naomi.
What's going on, Joel?
I don't know. I've just been thinking maybe we're not happy with each other.
What?
You know, we've been, I don't know, sort of unhappy with each other. And
Don't say we when you mean you.
I think maybe we're both used to operating at this level that how can one person be unhappy? If one person is unhappy, we both have to be, by definition.
Bullshit! Who is it? You met someone?
No, I just need some space, maybe.
The thing is, Joel, whatever you think you have with this chick, once this thrill wears off, you're just gonna be Joel with the same frickin' problems.
It's not somebody else. I hate myself.
Naomi walks off. Joel watches her. The scene fades. Interior, Borders bookstore, night. Joel enters, looks around. There's no sign of Clementine. Joel approaches a male employee.
Is there a Clementine who works here?
Hey, Mark, is Clem on tonight?
Oh my dick, bro. Oh, hey, yeah, I think he's upstairs in philosophy.
Joel climbs stairs, searches the aisles, spots Clementine.
Hi.
She turns.
Didn't think you'd show your face around me again. Figured you were humiliated. You did run away, after all.
Sorry to treat you down like this. I'm not a stalker, but I needed to see you.
Yeah?
I'd like to take you out or something.
Well, you're married.
Not yet. Not married.
Look, man, I'm telling you right off the bat, I am high maintenance. So I'm not going to tiptoe around your marriage or whatever it is you've got going on there. If you want to be with me, you are with me.
Okay.
So make your fucking domestic decisions and maybe we'll talk again.
She goes back to stacking. Joel stands there helplessly.
I just think that you have some kind of quality that seems really important to me.
The scene is disintegrating. Clementine's speech is delivered without passion.
Joel, I'm not a concept. I just want you to keep that in your head. Too many guys think I'm a concept, or I complete them, or I'm going to make them come alive, but I'm just a fucked up girl who is looking for her own peace of mind. Please do not assign me yours.
I remember that speech really well.
Had you pegged, didn't I?
You had the whole human race packed.
Probably.
I still thought you were going to save me, even after that.
I know.
It would be different. You could just give it another go around.
Well, remember me. Try your best. Maybe we can.
The scene is gone. Interior Rob and Carrie's car night. Joel sits forlornly in the back seat. Rob drives and Carrie sits in the front passenger seat. The car stops in front of Joel's apartment building.
Thanks, guys.
Hope you feel better, sweetie.
Yeah.
Say hi to Naomi.
The car door closes. Interior building stairway night. Joel climbs the stairs.
I hope she's not. I need to think.
Interior Joel's bedroom night. The lights are off. Joel sits on a chair near the window, writing in his journal. The street light illuminates the paper. Naomi sleeps in the bed.
I met someone tonight at a party on the beach. Her name is Clementine. There is something alive about her.
Naomi turns over in bed, sees Joel.
Hi.
Hi.
How was it?
You didn't miss much. Rob and Carrie say,
Hi, Bob and Carrie.
go back to sleep.
The room is starting to decompose.
Yeah, come to bed. I'm cold.
In a minute.
Naomi turns over. Joel goes back to his writing.
I don't know what to do about this. I've been feeling so alienated and numb lately. Forever. The thought of not acknowledging my feeling again seems self-destructive. How can I continue on this path toward a living death? A life filled with obligation and guilt and responsibility, but joyless and hopeless. I need to speak with Clementine.
The scene is turned to a husk. Interior Joel's apartment, afternoon. Joel is at his closet putting on a sweater. Naomi is at the dining room table, papers spread out before her writing. Joel turns and watches her for a moment.
So you don't mind?
Gotta finish this chapter anyway.
The scene is fading.
Okay. I wish you could come. Isn't it? The night we met. My God, it's over.
Me too.
He approaches Naomi, kisses her on the top of the head. She continues to write.
Say hi to Rob and Carrie. Have some fun.
I hope you get your work done.
Yeah.
Interior Rob and Carrie's car, night. Rob drives. Carrie fiddles with the radio dial in the front passenger seat. Joel sits in the back. And Carrie says,
I'm
You're
sorry,
muted.
Naomi couldn't make it. You okay? You seem quiet.
Just a little overworked, maybe. The trip to the party where I met Clementine. My first memory of her is now my last memory of her.
Joel looks out the window. Carrie turns around and says something to Joel. She is backlit, her hair a halo of frizz.
Remember when you turned around? Your face was dark and your hair was backlit. I could see a halo of frizz. You asked me if things were okay between Naomi and me.
I did. You said things were fine.
I remember.
This is the night you met Clementine, Joel. I remember watching you walk down the beach with her, and I thought, oh shit.
Yeah, you told me that later.
Told you that later.
Joel looks out the window. He sees the husk of a memory on the darkened roadside. It's Joel and Carrie in Interior Rob and Carrie's kitchen, Dave. Faded. Carrie and Joel sit at the table with coffee.
Who was the girl you walked off with?
No one.
Exterior beach parking lot night. Rob, Carrie, and Joel emerge from the car, parked amidst a small cluster of cars in an otherwise empty parking lot. Exterior beach night. Joel watches his shoes in the sand as he trudges along.
Is this the right way?
Exterior beach moments later. Joel, Rob, and Carrie step out of the brush and see a bonfire down the beach. People and music can be heard. Exterior beach later. Joel sits on a log, a paper plate of chicken and corn on his lap. People warm themselves at the fire. Joel watches couples talking, kissing, Rob sharing a joint with a guy.
You were down by the surf. I could just make you out in the dark.
Joel looks down to the water. There's Clementine in her orange hooded sweatshirt, looking out to sea.
You're back to me in the orange sweatshirt I would come to know so well and even hate eventually. At the time, I thought, how cool, an orange sweatshirt. I remember being drawn to you even then. I thought, how odd, I'm drawn to someone's back. I thought, I love this woman because she's alone down there looking out at the black ocean. But I went back to my food. The next thing I remember, I felt someone sitting next to me, and I saw the orange sleeve out of the corner of my eye.
A shot of the orange sleeve. Joel looks up.
Hi there.
Hi. I was so nervous. What were you doing there, I wondered. Her hair was lime green, green revolution.
A shot of her hair, her green hair.
You said.
I saw you sitting over here by yourself, and I thought, thank God, someone normal who doesn't know how to interact with these things either.
Yeah, I don't ever know what to say.
I cannot tell you how happy I am to hear that. I mean, I don't mean I'm happy that you're uncomfortable, but I'm just such a loser. Every time I come to a party, I tell myself I'm going to be different, and then it's always exactly the same, and I end up just hating myself afterwards for being such a clod.
Even then, I didn't believe you entirely. I thought, how could you be talking to me if you couldn't talk to people? But I thought, I don't know. I thought it was cool that you were sensitive enough to know that I was feeling and you were attracted to it.
But I don't know, maybe we're the normal ones, I mean, honestly, what kind of people do well at this stuff?
And I just liked you so much.
You did? You liked me?
I know I did.
Yeah, I know, I'm fishing.
You said.
I'm Clementine.
She picks a drumstick off of Joel's plate.
I'm Clementine. Can I borrow a piece of your chicken?
And you picked it out of my plate before I could answer. And it felt so intimate, like we were already lovers. I remember the grease on your chin, the bonfire light.
Shot of a smudge of chicken grease on Clementine's chin.
Oh God, how horrid.
I'm Joel. No, it was lovely.
Hi, Joel. So, no jokes about my name?
I mean, like, oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, Huckleberry Hound, that sort of thing.
Yes, things like that.
No jokes. My favorite thing when I was a kid was my Huckleberry Hound doll. I think your name is Magic.
She smiles, eyes welling.
This is it, Joel. It's gonna be gone soon.
I know.
What do we do?
Enjoy it. Say goodbye.
She nods. Joel and Clementine are walking near the surf.
So you're still on the Zoloft? Next thing I remember, we were walking down near the surf.
No, I stopped. I didn't want to feel like I was being artificially modulated,
I know what you mean. That's why I stopped.
But see, my sleeping is just really fucked up.
I don't think I've slept in a year.
You should try Xanax. I mean, it's a chemical and all, but it works. And it works just having it around, like knowing it's there, like insurance.
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple. You can see what you think.
Okay.
Have you ever read any Anna Akhmatova?
I love her.
Really? Me too. I don't meet people who even know who she is, and I work in a bookstore.
I think she's great.
Me too. There's this poem.
Did this conversation come before or after we saw the house?
I think before.
Seems too coincidental that way.
Yeah, maybe.
Joel and Clementine wander near some beach houses closed for the winter.
Do you know her poem that starts, "Seaside gust of wind in a house in which we don't live"?
Yeah. It goes, perhaps there is someone in this world to whom I could send all these lines.
Yes, I love that poem. It breaks my heart. I'm so excited you know it. Look, houses in which we don't live.
Joel chuckles appreciatively.
I wish we did. Are you married?
No.
Well, let's move into this neighborhood.
Clementine tries one of the doors on a darkened house. Joel is nervous.
I do sort of live with somebody though.
Oh,
She walks to the next house, tries the door.
male or female? Female. I mean, at least I know I haven't been barking up the wrong tree.
She finds a window that's unlatched. She lifts it.
Cool.
What are you doing?
It's freezing out here.
She scrambles into the window. Joel looks around, panicked.
Clementine. I couldn't believe you did that. I was paralyzed with fear.
The front door opens and Clementine stands there, beckoning.
Come on in, man. The water's fine. Nobody is coming here tonight, believe me. The place is closed up. The electricity's off.
I hesitated for what it seemed like forever.
I could see you wanted to come in, Joel.
He walks cautiously towards the door.
As soon as you walked in, I knew I had you. You knew I knew that, right?
Interior house. Joel enters the darkened and Clementine closes the door behind him.
I knew.
See, I knew by your nervousness that Naomi was not the kind of girl who forced you to criminally trespass.
It's dark.
Yeah. What's your girlfriend's name?
Naomi.
She's searching through drawers for something. She pulls out a flashlight, shines it in Joel's face.
Aha! Now I can look for candles, matches, and the liquor cabinet.
I think we should go.
No, it's our house just for tonight. We are David and Ruth Laskin. Which one do you want to be? I'd prefer to be Ruth, but I'm flexible. Oh, alcohol. You make drinks. I'm going to find the bedroom and slip into something a little more Ruth. I'm feeling ruthless at the moment.
She runs upstairs, giggling. The room is dying out, turning into a husk.
I really should go. I really need to catch my ride. I didn't want to go. I was too nervous. Thought maybe you were a nut. But you were exciting. You called from upstairs.
So go.
I did. I walked out the door. I felt like I was a scared little kid. I thought you knew that about me. I ran back to the bonfire trying to outrun my humiliation. You said, go, such the same.
What if you stayed this time?
I walked out the door. There's no more memory.
Well, come back and make up a goodbye at least. Let's pretend we had one.
Clementine comes downstairs, vague and robotic, making her way through the decaying environment.
Bye, Joel.
I love you.
She smiles, they kiss, it fades. Exterior, beach, night. Joel finds himself hurrying back to the bonfire. This scene, too, is disintegrating. It dries up, and Joel is just standing there on a faded beach at night. The bonfire frozen in the distance like a photograph. Interior, car, night. Joel sits in the back seat. Rob and Carrie are in the front.
Do you have any fun?
Joel nods glumly. Carrie continues to talk, but her voice goes under as Joel studies the faded husks of memories, piled up like refuse outside the moving car window. He sees dried out versions of previous interactions with Clementine playing out in loops. He looks back and sees the memory of his ride home from the beach with Rob and Carrie. It, too, is decaying. Soon all is crumbled into dust. Everything goes black. Interior Joel's bedroom, early morning. Howard watches the monitor. The last specks of light are fading. It grows dark. He's tired. His eyes are hollow. He turns to Stan, who is staring out the window at the dawn.
Okay.
Stan turns and wordlessly begins the cleanup. He pulls the electrodes off of Joel's scalp, coils cables, packs bags. Howard dials the bedside phone. He waits as it rings.
Hi, you've reached the Merziacs. We can't come to.
Howard hangs up. Exterior Joel's apartment building, early morning. Stan and Howard load the last of the equipment into the back of the van. He and Howard look at each other.
So I've got to drop off the van.
Thanks, Stan. Thanks.
Interior Patrick's car, early morning. Patrick and Mary are heading home from Boston. Mary is silent and depressed. Patrick tries to break the silence. And Patrick says,
You want to stop for coffee or something?
Mary shakes her head no. Long silence.
Well, it was sure beautiful on the river. Thank you for sharing it with me.
Mary doesn't say anything. Silence.
Heather? All right. Well, do it again.
Exterior parking structure, early morning. Stan pulls the van into the space-marked Lucona. He gets out, crosses to his car. Mary's sitting on the hood.
Hey, Mary.
Do you swear you didn't know?
I swear.
And you never suspected? Never saw us behaving in any unusual way together?
Once, maybe.
She watches him closely, waiting for him to continue.
It was here, at his car. I was coming back from a job and spotted you together. You seemed caught. I waved, you giggled.
How did I look?
Happy. Happy with a secret.
Mary starts to cry.
And after that?
I never saw you together like that again, so I figured I was just imagining things.
Mary says nothing.
I really like you, Mary. You know that.
Do you remember anything else? What I was wearing? Was I standing close to him? Was I leaning against his car like I owned it? How did you look at me when I giggled? Tell me everything.
We're in red, that red sweater with the little flowers, I think. You were leaning against his car. He looked a little like a kid, kind of goofy and wide-eyed. I've never seen him look like that before. Happy. And you looked beautiful. You looked in love.
Thanks, Sam.
She stops, but doesn't turn to face him.
You're nice. But I love him. I knew I loved him. Now I know.
He nods. She waves, heads to the elevator. Interior, Joel's bedroom, morning. Joel awakens. The apartment is neat, like when he went to sleep. He gets out of bed and heads into the bathroom. Exterior, commuter train station, morning. Joel waits on the crowded platform. The platform across the tracks is empty. Joel's train arrives. It's packed. He squeezes on with all the other commuters. Interior office day. Joel works in his cubicle over the light table. He seems distracted. He dials his phone. He's nervous.
Hi, Naomi. Yeah, hi. How are you? I know. It's been a long time. Not too much. You? Well, that's great. Congratulations. Maybe I could buy you dinner to celebrate. Tonight? I'm free. Okay, good.
Interior Lacona reception area day. Mary does paperwork at her desk. She looks through her reception window at the sad people waiting in the lobby with their bags of stuff. Interior Mirzawak's office. Mirzawak dials his phone and waits. He hangs up. Mary enters with the paper.
I need this signed, Howard.
He takes it, unable to make eye contact. He signs it, hands it back.
Thanks. So, do we talk about this? Or what?
I don't know what. I'm supposed to say, Mary, I want to do the right thing here.
Do you love me? Did you love me? Something. I listened to my tape. I can't believe I've been sitting right in front of it for a year. It's like listening to someone else's story. I mean, I hear myself talking about having sex with you, and I can't even imagine you naked. I can't even say naked to you.
I have a family, Mary.
You made me have an abortion.
It was a mutual decision.
You made me have me erased. I loved you. I love you. Could you?
I didn't make you. You thought it best. But look, I take full responsibility.
She looks at him for a long time. Then, out of frustration, she screams.
Ah!
Interior restaurant night. Joel sits across from Naomi.
So you haven't been involved with anyone all this time?
It's been a pretty lonely couple of years.
Sorry.
Well, it's my fault. The breakup. I'm sorry.
Sweetie, it really does cut both ways. We were taking each other for granted, and
I miss you.
miss you too. I've been seeing someone for a little while.
Oh, great. That's great.
A religious instructor at Columbia, a good guy. He's a
I'm
good
sorry.
guy.
I really shouldn't have.
I'm glad you called.
Interior Joel's bedroom night. Joel and Naomi are in bed having sex. There are certain sexual routines, habits that they have fallen back into almost immediately. She sticks her tongue in his ear in a way that's trying to be sexual, but just feels embarrassing to him. They finish and lie there.
So you think the dissertation will get published?
I don't know. I'm not sure there's a big public demand for books on Calvinism and misogyny.
Interior Clementine's apartment night. Clementine lies in bed with Patrick. Exterior commuter train station morning. The platform is crowded with business commuters. Joel is among them. The platform across the tracks from them is empty. Suddenly, Joel turns and makes his way through the crowd. He climbs the stairs, crosses the overpass, and makes his way to the empty platform. An almost empty train pulls into that platform. Joel gets on the train and watches the business commuters through the dirty windows as his train pulls out of the station. Interior, Mary's apartment morning. Mary gets out of bed. She's been crying all night. She's a wreck. She puts on some coffee, then crosses into the living room area. Sitting there are piles of the files from work. She pulls the top one out, copies the name and addresses onto an envelope, stuffs the file, and tapes the cassette in. She pulls another file out. This one has Joel's name on it. She copies it onto an envelope. Interior, Clementine's apartment, night. Joel says goodbye to Clementine.
So you'll call me, right?
Yeah,
When?
tomorrow.
Tonight. Just to test out the phone lines.
Yeah.
Joel exits. We stay on Clementine as she watches Joel head to his car, tramping through the snow. Interior, Joel's apartment, night. Joel enters, drops his overcoat on a chair, dials the phone.
Hi, Naomi. It's Joel.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Called you at work today. They said you were home sick.
I know. I had to take the day to think.
Yeah. I tried you at home. Did you get my message?
I just got in.
Long day thinking.
Joel flips on messages with volume down.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Hi. They told me you were sick. So where are you? I had a really nice time last night. I just wanted to say hi. So hi, call me. I'm home. Call me. That's me.
There you are. Naomi, it's just, I'm afraid if we fall back into this fast without considering the problems we had.
Okay, Joel. I suppose you're right.
I had a good time last night. I really did.
So I'm gonna go get some sleep. I'm glad you're okay.
We'll speak soon.
Night.
She hangs up and Joel stands there for a minute feeling creepy, and then he dials a number on a piece of paper.
What took you so long?
I just walked in.
Mm-hmm. Do you miss me?
Oddly enough, I do.
Ha ha, you said I do. Guess that means we're married now.
I guess so.
Tomorrow night, honeymoon on ice.
Exterior, Charles River, night. Clementine steps out onto it. Joel follows nervously.
Don't worry, it's really solid this time of year.
I don't know.
She takes his hand, and he is suddenly imbued with confidence.
This is so beautiful.
She squeezes his hand.
Isn't it?
She runs and slides on the ice. Joel is by himself now.
I don't know. What if it breaks?
What if?
Clementine lies on her back and stares up at the stars. Joel is paralyzed. He looks back at the shore.
I think we should go back.
Joel, come here. Please.
He hesitates and then gingerly makes his way over to her. She reaches for his hand and gently pulls him down. He lies on his back beside her, their bodies touching. He wants to turn to her, but out of shyness doesn't. She holds his hand. They look up at the stars. She smiles, doesn't say anything, but snuggles closer to him.
Listen, do you want to make love?
Make love?
Have sex, you know.
Oh,
Because I just am not drunk enough or stoned enough to make that happen right now.
that's okay.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that. It seems like the perfect romantic, exotic place to do it. And
Hey, Joel,
I'm too nervous around you right now.
I'm nervous too.
Yeah, wouldn't have thought that.
Well, you obviously don't know me.
I'm nervous because I have an enormous crush on you.
She smiles up at the sky.
Show me what constellations you know.
Montage. We see people going to their mailboxes, finding manila envelopes. One by one, they open the envelopes and pull out tapes. We see stunned, confused, disbelieving reactions as people listen to their tapes. Exterior, Clementine's apartment, day. Joel drops Clementine off. She kisses him. Interior, Joel's apartment, a few minutes later. Joel enters with his mail. He opens a manila envelope, reads the enclosed file, sticks the cassette tape in his stereo, listens. Joel dials the phone.
Yeah,
Did you send this? Is it a joke?
probably got the same thing as you.
I mean, I haven't told anyone I've met you. Who would have even known to do this?
Maybe it's true then. It is my voice on the tape.
That's what you have to say. How could it be true? I never even heard of any procedure like this. It's a joke.
Maybe, I mean, call someone who'd know.
Montage. We see the people we saw opening envelopes now on the phone. We hear over and over, is this true? Did this really happen? Do I know you? Is it true? Interior, Rob and Carrie's kitchen, Dave. Carrie is on the phone. She pauses nervously, then speaks.
Yes, Joel, it's true. We weren't supposed to say anything. They it's like waking a sleepwalker.
Interior, Joel's apartment. Joel hangs up. He dials the phone.
It's true.
I know. I spoke to my friend Magda.
Joel is immersed in the several page document.
Look, I have to go. I have to think.
Joel, we fucked, okay? We have made love like a million times, and we were so sweet and shy and inept with each other last night. Like, isn't that lovely?
Joel doesn't know what to say as this registers. He just stands there dumbly.
Come over here, sweetheart. Please?
Interior, Clementine's apartment. Later. Joel and Clementine review their separate lacuna packages together.
Says you were closed off, non-communicative, never told me what you were feeling.
Says you were a bully.
A bully? What?
That's what it says. You drank too much. You picked on me for being passive and timid.
Yeah, that sounds like me. Sorry, man. Says you were jealous and suspicious.
Says you would sometimes disappear all night and brag to me about your sexual conquest.
Okay, did I use the term sexual conquest, or is that your way of putting it?
I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't sound like me.
Says you were a slob, leaving trails of panties and dirty socks in your wake.
Says you were constantly calling me a slob. Kind of sexy. We were like a married couple, griping and overly familiar and bored. Don't you think?
I sort of do, but I only see it as a fantasy version of reality, cleaned up enough to be erotic.
We should have sex. I mean, it's old hat for us.
She smiles at nervous Joel.
You know my body like the back of your hand.
She unbuttons her blouse.
Every curve, every freckle.
She takes off her shirt. He stares at her. He has clearly never seen this body before.
You're so beautiful.
She approaches him, kisses him. His arms wrap around her waist for the first time. Interior, Laguna Limited, waiting room, morning. Stan enters the waiting room, now crowded with people holding their files. A stunned-looking lot. There's a new woman in the reception window. The file cases behind her are bare.
May I help you?
Used to work here. Stan, please just tell Howard I'm here to clean up my desk.
Mr. Merziak, Stan is here too. Yes, sir. He says he needs to see you.
Interior, Mirzuk's office, moments later. Stan enters. Mirzuk is pale and pacing.
She should not have done this, Stan. As mad as she was, as justifiable.
I don't know what you're talking about, Howard.
Mary has stolen our files and is sending them back to people.
Jesus.
Mirzuk turns up the volume on a small video monitor, looking in on the lab, where Patrick has clearly taken over Stan's position. He is in the process of interviewing a sad young woman.
So I called everyone I know and I asked them to tell me everything. Now, I know my entire history with him, but it's after you can take over.
But it's in the form of a study. I'm losing my mind.
That is why people must never be told. It's like waking in a.
I don't know what to do. Before I thought I was depressed for no reason. Now it's like I've been assigned a reason.
And Patrick said,
What do you think about it?
It never should have happened, ma'am. We'll take care of it.
I know you don't like me much, Stan, but please talk to Mary. She's of all people should know this is dangerous things she's doing.
interior office day. Joel works over his light box. His phone rings.
Hi, it's Joel.
Hey, lover, what you doing?
I'm just, passing the tune best I can till I see you.
God, I can't believe I ever hated you.
Must have been crazy.
Guess what I'm wearing?
I don't know. Panties and
Your dried spunk.
Jesus.
Are you still excited by my reverence? You haven't yet started to think of it as my gratuitous need to shock others?
I can't stop thinking about you.
Yay! Meet me after work by the old mill.
What old mill? Is that somewhere we...
I just wanted to say that. Come to my house.
Interior, Mary's apartment day. Mary opens the door. Stan stands there with 2 cups of takeout coffee.
Oh,
Hi.
what do you want, Stan?
Can I bought you some.
She steps aside for Stan to enter. He does. Looks around, sees the tapes and the stuffed envelopes on the floor.
What's this?
Nothing.
I know what it is.
Then why did you ask me?
I don't know. There are a lot of really confused people showing up at the office.
They have a right to know. Howard is a thief. He steals the truth. I can't remember my baby. I can't remember my baby. It existed and I can't remember. Do you understand that? Stan doesn't know what to say.
No, Mary, people come to him voluntarily.
I won't allow it. Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. What do you think of that? That's from my quote book.
The office is filled with people who want their memories re-erased.
Remember the Alamo. Remember the Alamo!
Mary, please, this is hurting people.
Long pause. Then,
Oh, I want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt people. But these things happen. All these little sadnesses, the big ones. What if no one remembers? What does that do to the world? Someone has to remember, Stan.
they look at each other. Exterior, park, afternoon. Vague elliptical images of a young girl on a swing.
I was by myself in the park because my friend Davia was sick that day. I was on a swing. There was this smiling man walking a little bushy dog.
Vague shots of a man smiling, a scruffy dog on a leash.
The man said something like, "He's friendly.
Vague shot of the man, his voice overlapping with the woman's.
He won't bite."
Well, you can pet him if you want.
Shot of the girl petting the dog.
Do you want to give him a biscuit? The girl nods. They're in a tiny car. Why don't you?
Excuse me, hello? Interior Lacuna reception area day. Mary with a headset on. looks up, startled. She switches off the tape. She's been crying. There's a pile of tapes next to her. The distraught woman is standing there.
May I help you?
I'm here for Dr. Mishlik. My name is Helena Kerndale.
Yes, yes, yes. Please have a seat. The doctor will be with you momentarily.
The woman sits. Mary presses an intercom button.
Howard, you're 10:30.
She switches the tape back on.
He took me to his car and
Vague shot of the girl being raped. Interior commuting tube, day. The old woman is staring off blankly, her giant manuscript in her lap as she travels over the New York skyline. We move into her eyes. Interior vague space. Vague reenactments of memories intermingle in this undefined space. The young girl being raped by the man in the car. A soldier on a battlefield looking at his slaughtered friends. A couple fighting from the woman's point of view.
I find you physically repulsive. I can't even look at you.
They look at each other in silence. A little boy being called a creep by an endless succession of boys. The aftermath of a car accident from the driver's point of view. Mary having an abortion. Interior commuting tube, day. The old woman and her chairlift out of the line of commuters. Interior waiting room, day. It's modern and well appointed. The old woman enters, sits behind the reception desk, drops her manuscript into the drawer. She takes some pills with water. An old man enters.
How are you today, Mary?
See. Still dying, Howard.
You don't have to jump down my throat. I was trying to be nice.
Oh, don't try. It's unbecoming of you.
Old Howard mutters something and disappears into the back. Old Mary pulls out a file from behind, removes a small disc, places it in a machine on her desk, slips on earphones and listens, somewhat wearily but attentively. We watch the color drain from her face, but don't hear the recording. Another old woman enters the office. Old Mary looks up, seems a bit startled, conceals it, turns off the tape.
May I help you?
I'd like to make an appointment.
I think the doctor is free this morning. He can probably take you right away for an initial consultation.
The second old woman smiles gratefully. Interior old man's office, a few minutes later. Old Howard works at his desk. Old Mary enters with the second old woman.
Dr. Merziak, this is Clementine Kruzinski. She'd like to talk to you.
Old Howard and old Mary eye each other.
Hello, Miss Christie. Nice to meet you. Please have a seat.
He indicates a sitting area. She sits. He joins her.
Would you mind if I tape our discussion?
She shakes her head. He punches a couple of buttons on his computer's console. A tape recorder starts up, and his computer's screen lights up so only he can see it. On it, we see a whole file on Clementine Krasinski, a list of 15 dates of previous erasures stretching back 50 years, all of them involving Joel Barish.
So why don't you begin by telling me why'd you come here?
Well, I met this man, Joel, 3 years ago at a senior dance. We'd both been alone for so long, and...
Interior tube, night. The old woman, Mary, travels in, the computer tube over Manhattan. It's late. The tube is mostly empty. She has earphones on.
I remember Joel and I having breakfast.
Interior vague space. An old man and the second old woman eat breakfast.
I said something like we should go upstate and see the leaves change.
The old man looks up from his cereal and stares blankly. The woman smiles, but there's no response, just a dead stare.
He just stared at me like I didn't exist, as if I had never existed.
Interior tube, the second old woman's Clementine voice drones tinnily in the distance. The old woman with the earphones is dead, her eyes glassy and unseeing.
His eyes used to be so filled with love, but it was gone. How could I go back to being alone after seeing love? I was alone for so long. What had I done with my life? I was alone for so long.
Interior second old woman's apartment, night. The old Clementine is unconscious on her bed, hooked up to a modern version of the erasing machine. Two young technicians monitor the equipment. The woman's bedside phone rings. Her machine picks up after a moment.
Hi, it's Joel. What's going on, Clem? Why won't you call me back? Please call me. We need to speak.
The machine clicks off. One of the technicians reaches over and presses the erase button on the machine. Black. End.
Yay!
Done.
Epole!
That was great.
That was
It's all
great.
very nice. I'm just
I
kidding.
especially like Petra's Scottish shepherdess at the end there.
No, don't go criticizing my crap accent, lass. I'll chuck a haggis at ya.
Hey, it's fucking great, okay? It's just fucking great.
Well, I can say that because my ancestry Scottish, so yeah. Totally
Same.
Scottish.
And
It's right. That's right.
Okay, yeah. Hey, it's been fun. I got to roll.
Vince, we love you. You were so
It's Cash.
awesome. Vince.
Cash, let people know where they can find you. Where can they find you?
Instagram. Jam_Vincent.
Jam_Vincent on Instagram.
Like JAM?
Yes.
J-A-M.
Vince, we love you. You were awesome.
Thank you, doctor.
See you next time.
Thank you,
Good night.
doctor.
All right, we'll go use that to go around and go through everyone else. Say where they can find you because they want to hire you because of these amazing performances you did tonight that are basically cold reads.
Mackenzie,
So-
what are you doing?
I'm finding Jam Vincent.
All right, she's
I
on
thought
it.
you were taking a picture. Ah.
Oh, I'll do that too, but I'm finding Jam Vincent and
first,
then
let me
taking
take a
a
selfie.
story.
Don't.
A live video.
Oh. Okay, go.
All right, so we'll go around. Miss Vicky Dykes, thank you for reading actions and descriptions for us tonight. And we know you're an amazing actress, and everyone who's only seen this one can go to see the other table reads because she's in almost all of them, doing a killer job. So, Vicky, tell us more about you and where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. I'm YogaGramma7, and I'm on Facebook, Vicky Dykes. And I love to act. And I really enjoy doing actions and descriptions too. But by the end of this, I couldn't even pronounce Murray right. Oh, I mean Mary.
I didn't notice that. But,
It's 2022, man. It's Murray or Mary.
Hire her for voiceover, for audiobooks, for acting. And now, Petra.
Did you say yoga or yoga? Sorry.
Go ahead. No, we want to know. Yoga. So she teaches yoga. She's going to maybe have a yoga TV show.
What was
I
the
heard-
full name again? I'm sorry.
I heard from my producer, I'll be meeting with him on the 1st.
Yoga Vicky.
It's exciting. It's
Yoga
Yoga
Grandma
Grandma.
7 on Instagram.
Yoga Grandma?
Yeah.
Seven.
Yeah, Yoga
That's
Grandma
the best
7.
fucking name. 7. Got it.
Do you have
Yep.
7 grandchildren, Vicky?
9.
Did you? Did you create that when you had 7 and now you have 9?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, it looks like Clint has to go. I know he's on New York City time thing. Oh, he was saying something else, but we'll let him.
No, I'm
Tell us
just
about
talking
him.
about Vicky Dykes making her own show.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
awesome. Exciting. So, but Clint, tell us where they can find you, what you're up to.
Well, I had plans, but those have all changed.
It's his life.
Yeah, you can find me at Clint_Monroe. Yeah, I had a couple plans actually. I'm gonna be background on the Wu-Tang show, which is sick. I mean, came out to New York City and then had that drop into my lap. That was pretty cool. But yeah, halfway through this script, I just bought the script, and I'm probably gonna read this one like 5 or 6 times. Yeah, so
Okay, we'll talk more about why you loved it so much and why you bought it after.
talk to you guys later.
All right, but where can people find you?
Clint_Monroe. You can check me out there, or you can check me out on the streets somewhere.
All right, all right.
You're not leaving, are you?
What was that?
Said you're not leaving, are you?
Me? No,
Yeah.
not
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Petra Stedman.
Hi. Okay, so you can mostly see me on, well, here, basically, although I am at Petra Stedman on Twitter. Currently my only major social media outlet, I suppose, aside from this one, which is an outlet in so many ways. So
Awesome.
working on getting stuff out there.
Well, great job as Clementine. I know, what's her name? The actress said that like it was one of her favorite roles, like answer that easily ever.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that after. Till then, the Daddy Mac, the Mac Daddy, Mackenzie Khan. That disappeared.
I just disappeared. I was like, I guess it doesn't
I
take
know.
like West Side signs. Anyway,
So excited you just disappeared.
I know, right? West Side. You can find me on all of the things at my name. Just my name in full, Mackenzie Khan, MacKenziecon. Khan's pronounced like Khan, but it's not spelled the same way. Make sure it's MAC. I'm around. I am playing a show at the Whiskey A Go Go on October 7th with my rock band.
For people who don't know, that's a famous venue in LA.
My
You
child.
must come, please, please, please do. And hopefully,
What's
we'll
that
be
date
nailing
again?
the next Netflix big show soon. So keep it
Sweet. What's the date for the Whiskey A Go Go?
October 7th
All right.
with the band Midnight Cloud. And keep an eye for all the acting things. That's always, 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 always happening.
Yeah, you were just shooting something, weren't you?
I was.
All right.
It's a film noir shot in black and white. So
Nice. You'll have to let us know more when that comes out.
for the reels.
Please.
But thank
Yes.
you very much, everybody. That was an amazing, amazing, amazing experience.
And thank you for putting so much into it and stuff.
Oh, what an opportunity.
And Morgan Toll.
Hi. You can find me on Instagram at Morgan Elizabeth Toll. I'm a SAG-AFTRA voice actor, and a writer.
Gotcha,
Awesome.
girl.
All right. They'll go to those places and find you. And Heather Lee Cameron.
Hi, my name is Heather Lee Cameron. I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a creative freelancer from Lethbridge, Alberta, and you can find me on my YouTube channel, The Storm and Latter Day Saint. You can also find me on Facebook at Heather Lee Freelancer, Lee Leigh, because I know Mackenzie's Googling me. You can also find me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I'll post all those in the chat because it's easier for me to type it out. You can find me on Actors Access, Backstage, all those cool things. And I don't really have anything going on right now, but I would like some work. I've got a nice little blue Yeti Nano and lots of pretty reels if people want to hire me. And if you want to hire me and have a conversation, I can be reached at heather.lee.cameron@gmail.com.
Reach out to her at all the places across the universe, like a Star Trek, superstar.
Like a Beatles
Star
song.
Trek, not track. Jacob. Why must you sin on Star Trek? I mean, that's not nice.
You're welcome. Angel Peterson, last and definitely never least, a huge part of the show that we
fabulous
appreciate.
hair blowing in the wind. Like, oh
It's
my.
like slow motion, just
Oh, catch me!
Just
Oh,
body
that
shots.
was really crap. I posted in an ad.
Say it's Maybelline.
The official drink
maybe
of
she's made with
memory.
it.
Maybe she's born with it.
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe she had her memory erased. I don't know.
I'll forget me. I'm Angelina. Angel CDP on most things. All over the place. I live in the world. Homeless with many homes all over the place, wherever I am.
I'm already following you.
You're following me?
I guess so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And what are you working on, Angel? Where can other people follow you?
Like I said, my Aquafina commercials. I'm working on Table Read Tuesdays and editing our feature film and writing a script. Is that me?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was really
going. I'm distracted.
super loud. Yeah, a script thanks to some wonderful lady here, some wonderful, who connected me with somebody who wanted a good feature film made out of her book. So I'll be writing that.
Awesome, awesome. Great connections and friendships happening here from Table Read Tuesdays.
Yeah, and I'm echoing, but really great bunch of people, nice friendships. Yeah, I'm very happy that you started this crazy brainchild.
It is a special place in y'all.
And where can we find you, Air Director?
Yes.
Jacob. Here, Table Read Tuesday, every Tuesday, like, subscribe, share. So this is the best place. Otherwise, I have a website, jacobhatcher.com. My background's in animation, but I've directed a few things, but like screenwriting. And so that's why I'm here, to read the screenplays, learn from the greats, and have it read to me by amazing actors and actresses. So makes it that much more fun to read these scripts. So come and join with us every week.
Detroit/Canadian OG.
Yes, I'm an honorary Canadian. Thank you for some other Canadians. Otherwise, I was born right here. Mackenzie knows what's that mean. What's that mean? Yeah.
You're very creative and very charismatic. There's your compliments for the next 2 weeks, and don't you dare protest. Remember, we talked
Trying to
about
learn.
this.
I'll say thank you. All right. Now let's talk about this movie for whoever can stay. Let's talk about the screenplay.
Yeah.
I'm
All
leaving.
right.
Goodbye.
Okay.
I'm going up early. I
Thank
know.
Thank you,
Hi.
Mackenzie.
Kirsten Dunst.
I stay for a little while. But I
All right,
leave.
then you go first. Give us your thoughts on Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, both the script and the movie. Not the whole thing. You can just
like that's basically it. It's just like, I mean, how do you sum up? It's like I was expressing to some castmates during this reading. It's hashtag human story in a nutshell. It really is. I think it is relatable to everyone, everyone who has fallen in love or had a traumatic experience or had even an uplifting experience we want to forget sometimes. I guess that can still be, it's such a human story of the desire to forget for the peace of mind. Yeah, it hit home today. Like it hasn't. I can't wait to go and watch this tonight, honestly. And I think that our actors here did a fucking phenomenal job. I haven't been this absolutely attentive. I couldn't stop just my eyes were glued to the screen this entire evening, and what an amazing opportunity just to live that and share that with the human culture and with everybody on the face of the earth. I think that's something that, whatever language we speak, we can all agree on that. And usually it's love or math, but this one, forgetting is one we forget about. We forget about forgetting, and that's a very, very universal language as well. It's sad. It's a sad universal language.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any thoughts or comments to add to that? I don't. Hard to say. All right.
Well, what about you? I'm sure you were taking notes.
I did take some notes. A lot of mine were differences between the screenplay and the film, which there are a lot. They are a lot.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I have a question about that. Do you think that, because one of the major changes for the film is that they removed the framing device of the older cast and seeing that, and then seeing the button at the end of like, this is just a never-ending, perpetual repeating cycle, versus focusing on the core of it. They meet, the relationship goes backwards, forwards. Where are we in the relationship? Remembering all that, and then it ends on a relatively hopeful note. So, I mean, better, worse, different, and that's all there is to say about it. Like, what do you guys think?
I think definitely different. For me, it feels a little sadder. In the screenplay, with them feeling like they've been alone the whole life. You know what I mean? And at the end, she's erasing it again. Like, it has the thing, like, they enjoy those love, but not remembering any of those times. And again, I feel like with the quotes in the movie, they're kind of using the theme. Those that don't remember the past are destined to repeat it and stuff. So, but I would love both of them. If they made that version, I would love that one too. That's my thoughts. Other people?
Well, I Googled this actually. I actually Googled this. I couldn't find it. The main message, according to Google, it said, it shows us that memories aren't files to be deleted. They're more than simple thoughts, and they shape the core of the self. And people need both the good and the bad to learn and grow. And I suppose that's true. I mean, it's not easy to get over the bad, but we need the bad in order to grow, right? So we need to take the bad and use the bad to help ourselves to become better. We don't have to be what we survive. We don't have to succumb to the pain of what we survive, right? And I've written about this in the past, actually, for anybody who's read my stuff.
There's a beautiful scene in South Park about that, honestly. It's like with this episode when Stan breaks up with Wendy, I think, and becomes a goth. And then Butters, who's like the dweeb, right?
Wendy breaks up with Stan for the first part.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And then
Butters, he's like, I just don't want to be unhappy anymore, guy.
It's awesome.
God bless that show.
Yeah, thanks, South Park. Well, I mean, they did create what's that? The Book of Mormon, which is like tied for the most Tonys of all time. So there's something to their writing style for sure.
Oh, Trey Parker and Matt Stone are gods. Yeah. They're satirical gods. Also, just like coming back full circle, a difference in the screenplay and the movie. Is there a lot more sex?
There is.
Okay, good.
There's a lot more characters in it that are.
I was reading this and I'm like, I didn't notice this much sex when I was like younger. And I would have.
On that note,
believe you me, there's a lot more sex.
I did a tiny bit of research, not enough, and they said like the scene between Stan and Mary, they filmed them having sex in Joel's apartment or whatever, but they cut that out. And so it's not in the film. And like you said, all the other
like the cool echo thing. It's like the voice of God. It's kind of impressive. It's like, oh.
Hello. You're muted. Sorry.
Thank you. They did hint at it when they woke up together naked. So,
Yeah.
In the film.
In the
yeah.
film.
Oh,
And
okay, okay.
Petra commented on that in our chat. I don't know if she wants to bring it up.
I mean,
Which part?
I mean, little
Maybe
me
it's a
would have
private thought.
preferred full of it.
Oh,
I don't
no,
know
no,
if it's
I'm
really
totally-
implied
I'm
though.
totally down with it.
fine.
What my comment in the chat was at the moment when Stan gets up and he's walking around naked, it's like that eventually went to Mark Ruffalo. And in my mind, I mean, I am a hashtag banner girl. The purple shirt of science and sex that lives on that man is just one of my favorites. And I'm sorry, as far as I'm concerned, in that moment, that is America's ass. No offense to Chris Evans, okay? The boy from New York is doing fine, but at the same time, I'm sorry.
Hey, I'm just gonna tell my child to read. Just read more, kid. Just read.
Yeah, no, totally.
Just keep reading. There's nothing on TV. No, you just
nothing but nudity, sex, and improbable relationships. It's like just read a book. At least you know it's fantasy. At least it
And
sells
then they're
you.
reading all about sex.
porn.
No, they read about tender, euphemistic lovemaking. Okay.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Aw.
The horrible misunderstanding of anatomy, but that's not. We're getting off topic. My point is, she's trying to fade out. She's trying to fade away. No.
The internet is for
Another thing with this movie, they almost stopped making it, stopped working on it. The writer and director, like, were hearing about Memento. They were writing this when Memento, I don't know if it just came out or if that was being developed too. And they're like, the memories and things going backwards are too similar. We should stop. It's pointless for us to make this when there's a very similar other movie coming out. And I forget the details, if it was the producer or somebody like had the wisdom. No, it's different enough, keep going. And I know we're all so glad that they did. So if there's other writers out there that see another movie similar to theirs, like being made, or they hear about it, don't let that stop you. It's not going to be your version. Your version is going to be so different, kind of like this is completely different than Memento. I love them both, but yeah.
Random side note, just because I thought if you listen to the musical score, I do think that like occasionally score, soundtrack, and everything like that, the music that you choose to use in a movie, the music, like the scenes that you choose to add it to and take it out. Two things. One, I find it interesting in the film, they actually have a few scenes where they only have the score playing when they're talking. And normally you would fill silence or space between speech with music, and they chose to cut it out when they stopped talking and only use it when they were talking, which I thought was kind of cool. The other thing, I love this little bit of trivia. John Bryan, who was the composer for the score for this movie, ended up writing Gold Digger with Kanye West. Kanye West was such a fan of the soundtrack, the score for this movie, that he tracked down the composer and they wrote like the bass for the song in like a day. And he had no background in hip hop or rap or R&B or anything like that. But Kanye's like, dude, I like your sound, I like your vibe, I like your style. They got together and they knocked out Gold Digger. I'm like, Sunshine of the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Gold Digger. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Gold Digger. You know what? I'm just gonna roll with it. It's fine. So.
Kanye is known for making things in a day, even a 7-song album, and then following another 7-song album. So
yeah,
we'll give him Loop God. He can be easy. That's fine. But gotta give him props.
Yeah, it is a banger. It is a banger. Good.
I think it's time for one of Clint's notes. You have a note you wrote down?
Yeah, I got a lot.
We have better than Cliff Notes. We've got Clint Notes.
Clint notes. I'm just gonna like keep it short, right? If you want to write a script that sells and you want to study script writing, you read Chinatown, right? If you want to write a script that says "fuck you, sign me," study the script. That was well done. There is so many memorable lines in there. No wasted space. Every single section is building tension or alluding to suspense in some way or another. When you talk about memorable dialogue, there are so many lines in there that are timeless and deep. It's not just because it's about
Nope.
erasing memory or something like that, because there's a lot of times in movies where they have like an interesting topic and they don't land. This is an interesting topic and the writing is right there. Yeah, this is definitely like dropping that on somebody's desk and saying, fuck you guys, man. That's what I can do. So yeah, I got lots of notes. I halfway through this, I bought the script. It's going to be delivered to me. And I've already got my note-taking stuff. So I'm just going to go through it and I'm going to butcher that thing. I'm going to gut it. I'm going to go inside of it and pick it apart completely because that was amazing.
Yeah, and there's always,
dude. That's
like,
the first script that I've really actually read that was like, that's what I want. So
Fucking
That's
amazing.
awesome. That's awesome.
Amazing script.
And there's a lot of debate about structure, 3-act structure, 5-act structure. Like this, if you look it up, everything's like, it did so well because of its unconventional structure and stuff that they all discuss that.
I was actually really surprised at how very little action descriptions there were in it.
What do you think about that, Vicky? Was there little? Did it feel little action description?
Yeah.
Comparatively, yes.
Yes.
And
I barely got to hear Vicky's voice, which was really sad. So,
yeah, we'll just go back to Rocky and watch her play the Mickey. That was sick.
yeah, you're gonna do it, kid.
Fight scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what were
Okay,
your
we
thoughts
can
on
do
it, Vicky?
Chinatown. No big deal. Just saying, we can do it in like 2 weeks. It's no big deal. We can
Again.
totally do China. It might be a little, but like, just saying.
So, who here has not seen the movie? Heather, I don't think has. Anyone else? Everyone else has seen it?
It's been a long time. I watched that with, in fact, the girl that like this movie would be about in my life. And then haven't seen it since. And then those things happened, and then it's like, all right, let's revisit this whole thing. I still probably wouldn't do the brainwashing and deleting things because it was worth it. But anyways, that's.
Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. The memory was erased.
Yeah. Is somebody working on you over there?
Yeah, this is all fading right now.
Yeah.
Who are you people?
I would never want to erase something that was really good. If it were all like very, very hurtful and very, very bad and really didn't have much good in it, then yeah. But if there was a lot of good, I wouldn't, even if it's hurtful, I wouldn't want to erase that.
This movie
but
came from,
that's
I think.
That's one of the deepest parts of life, right? Is that there really isn't things. Well, I don't know. I don't want to speak too much, but like there's always a light in whatever darkness is out there. And usually the darkest things in life are the hardest lessons to learn.
What did Aristotle
Sometimes
say?
the things that you
learning
struggle
some
with for the
lessons.
rest of your life.
What is
But
happiness?
there's a lesson there,
According to Aristotle, happiness is progression.
Yeah.
And you cannot progress without
Aristotle.
conflict.
I want to see Aristotle going on a trip through time and space with
There's a script for you.
Man, I want to see Aristotle on Deal or No Deal.
well,
like-
no, because they brought Socrates back from the future, right? But like they didn't bring Aristotle, and it would be a very different story.
So, Socratic method, dude.
This movie
I
came
don't know,
about
there's-
from, I think, Michel Gondry. If you watch his stuff, the director, like he does amazing visual stuff. Like it looks like a lot of stuff we see now, but he was doing it 20 years ago before anyone else was doing these type of things. So amazing stuff. But his friend posed the question, and I can't think of it, and I'm sorry, but basically,
she went through a relationship and it was ending horribly. And he said, would you, if you could erase the memory of him, would you? And she said, yes.
yeah. So his friend said that, so he posed that question. And so for all of you guys, can you guys think of a memory? Maybe I shouldn't do this. You don't have to say which one that you would erase if you could.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. I would, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still wrestling with that one. I mean, there's a lot of darkness, but you know, it's kind of coming to terms to that's showing you where you need to go or what you need to do or how you need to grow and evolve. And without that, it would, you wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be where I'm at. I mean, I'm happy where I'm at now. I mean, I'm not, you know, where I want to be in a lot of other aspects of my life, but I've just started the path. And I feel like everything that's happened in my life has gotten me to my mission in life. And if I would have missed one of those things, I wouldn't be here, you know. I'd be working retail or, you know, still bartending or, you know, lost
Hey man, I
somewhere in
just lost my
Indonesia.
bartending job. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's all shitty, right? It's all shitty. I don't think you could be a human being without it being shitty. That's why we're here telling these stories, is because it's shitty sometimes. And there's no story that we tell that's a good day ever. We never tell a story that's a good day. We wouldn't have this job. We wouldn't be doing what we love if it weren't for these memories.
I know it's funny because like those movies like you're talking about, right? Like it's definitely a style of movie. You know, you got like Blow, Boogie Nights, and what's the other one? Requiem for a Dream, right? Where it starts off as this amazing, super badass story, right?
So good, but so off.
But it's just the inverse, right? Where the good things go away and bad things happen afterwards. You know what I mean? Because there is that duality in life.
Hey, I just
Bleach
watched
that movie from my memory.
Don Juan DeMarco last night with Johnny Depp and Marlon Brando. Whoa, what a great fucking film too. But the perception of your reality too can be changed, which I think is also a theme in this movie. You know, like he goes from saying, I want all these memories erased, and then, you know, once it's happening, it's like, wait, this is good.
Don't take
good. I loved you that day.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and remember, he only does it kind of as a knee-jerk reaction to finding out that she did it. He found out through, in a way that he wasn't supposed to. I mean, that she had erased him, and he elected to do it as like a knee-jerk. Well, you know, oh, you're going to delete me? I'm going to delete you right back. It's this weird, almost juvenile reaction, like, nuh-uh. You know,
but doesn't it make him more husband and wife than ever?
Argument like, oh, you did it, I'm going to do it right back. It's like, oh, you killed me, I'm gonna kill you right back. It's like it makes sense, but it doesn't. And then
domestic.
I think that is actually a really that moment, at least when he starts wanting to call it off, is kind of a good metaphor for examining past relationships or really anything that has influenced where you are now, the good and the bad, because you can think nothing in my life has ever gone right. You can go back and look and think that every moment just makes you miserable, and then you stop and you really think about it, and if you go to like burn all of your pictures or, you know, rip up your writing or whatever it is, you're gonna stop and you're gonna look at something and you're gonna go, you know what, that wasn't bad.
It goes from forgive them to forgive yourself real quickly.
Well, it's also just like the person whose life is going the crappiest on the planet has still had one good day. They may not remember it. They may not care. It may be so buried under everything they might not even think it happened, but it did happen. Something somewhere in your life.
There's a good sunset, right?
There has been there has been a good sunset. There has been that perfect bite of food that just like you ate it and the world made sense for a moment. You know, there's been that person who stopped and listened to you and you didn't feel alone for a minute. And there have been like those connections, those moments, those things that are like in your memory, and it's like you can choose to focus on one or the other, but it's an excellent like, you know, there is no such thing as well, I shouldn't say that. There absolutely are negative, horrible, toxic, you know, get the hell out relationships that you absolutely do not want to be in, and anything that is good is just the bait inside the trap to keep you there.
And hey, you don't want to be a beaten wife either. I mean, that's the whole, you know, that's the whole duality of the whole situation. Like even like the most traumatic situations, you don't want to necessarily be the person in those traumatic situations. So you can't even be the person who has those memories. You're not allowed. You don't allow yourself.
But there was a writing exercise about perception the other day, and if nothing else, it was good for both understanding your perspective and for kind of putting yourself, like, empathy and stuff like that. Take a moment and think of 3 moments in your life that instantly make you cringe just thinking about them. Now try and imagine the first person that pops into your head. Try and think of 1 moment that they have that would have made them cringe. It is so much harder to do the second one than it is to do the first. You can probably instantly come up with, like, oh my God, everything about that entire year of my high school existence was terrible. But you're like, 1, not everything would have been bad. And 2, understand that the way you feel when you think that is the way other people feel when they think that. So,
You know, I know that Petra and I know that I've been talking a lot during this whole thing, and this will be the last thing that I rant about, but there's an exercise in a course I've taken since I've been out here in California that I've really loved. That's more of like a philosophy with a practical application than an acting class. But once a year, we do something called an empathy exchange, and we write down anonymously something that happened between ages 6 and 16, and it gets distributed throughout the class as a female reads it or a male reads it. If you're female, another female will read it. And they don't know whose it is, and you don't know who's going to read it. And it's like this on a Zoom, and all of a sudden you have somebody else taking your personal story off of your shoulders. And it made me personally realize my purpose in this whole field, where it's like, if I can make one person feel like that by telling a story, if I can make one human being in the world feel like their burden is shared and at least lifted for just a second, then I've done my job, you know. And if it's 1 million people, great. But if it's even one person, that's even better. And I felt that today.
Yeah, there's definitely a deep over here. Well, I just wanted to say something really profound. I'm going to bring this in. Hey, I'm just kidding. This mic's not even set up.
I thought you were going to sing to us.
No, I just wanted to bring a little bit of comic relief since we got super down in there. But no, it's definitely interesting. I remember it's different, but you know, in the same vein, there's this exercise. It's like an old Buddhist thing where it's like, take somebody you love and extend love to them, right? In this meditation. And then the second one is take just a random stranger. Just think about somebody you met like at the grocery store, right? And then try to extend that love to them. And then take an enemy, right? That's the third step, is take an enemy. And then like, you'll see those times in your life where there's like somebody that just was like an asshole, and you'll kind of struggle with it. And then there will be that person in your life that fucking ruined it. And you'll sit there for a good 45 minutes, just blank. And you're like, I can't think, I can't give you nothing, you know? But slowly but surely you work on it. I remember there was a couple people in my life where I really did have to sit there for, I think, 2 to 3 weeks before I could even start.
And then don't you do yourself?
Love. Huh?
Then don't you?
Yeah, you start with yourself.
Yeah, which is the hardest one. You know, it's like, wait, I can give all these people unconditional love. Why can't I give myself that?
Well, I thought that originally, but when I got to the people that like really did stuff, like that was a lot harder, I thought, than to myself. And I was definitely textbook not loving myself. But it's interesting. I mean, there's so many different ways to go about skinning a cat, in this life. Don't do that though, because that's wrong. There's like
every way is wrong.
There's like many ways to maybe take bark off a tree, but even that's still bad because the tree gets hurt and then you kill the tree and then you continue.
According to my mom, there is one way and a specific way to fold a towel. Okay.
There you go, dude. I love it, man. You heard it live on Table Read Tuesdays.
Go watch Marie Kondo.
There's 2 ways.
Morgan, do you have any thoughts on the script or anything else everybody's been talking about here?
I love all the input and I love listening. To me, I think Charlie Kaufman is a modern day Virginia Woolf because Virginia Woolf was the first writer to ever throw the three act structure away and just focus on the human mind. And this is exactly what Charlie Kaufman does in all of his movies is he focuses on the human mind. And so I just think it's really cool to hear everybody's input on that.
Virginia Woolf traveled everywhere, but she never left her home.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Kaufman, the first like screenplay he ever wrote, definitely what you're saying, Morgan, like in somebody's mind, being John Malkovich, and never expected that to ever get made. So,
Oh, Malkovich.
okay. Yeah, this is, I don't know, definitely been a movie that makes you think. It makes everyone think. Do you guys have, you don't have to answer it because it's hard, like they're both absolutely great. Do you have where you like the movie more or the script more or?
The movie.
Yeah, I think I definitely like the movie more. I find the script in its original form more evocative, and I mean that in kind of it evokes a lot, even if that's a lot of provoking. A lot of it is just like it gets under your skin, it digs in there, it really jabs and pokes in uncomfortable ways, but it's still a really well written, it's a really good, intriguing script, but it's a very evocative script, and like it will get in there and make you feel something, which may or may not be what you're going to a movie for. The thing about the movie, I think, is it definitely wins out for one, the actors, because even reading the script, you can't not see the actors from the movie in the script if you've seen it. And two, I honestly think, interesting as it is to see the framing device that they put of like the 50 years, and this is just it's a perpetuating, never-ending cycle of like they get back together, they erase it, they get back together, they erase it, they get back together, they erase it, and like all the stuff that happened with even the dropped plot lines, like the reason why people would do this. I do like the movie because of hope. It ends on a more, and even like the original versions of the ending, Joel was not going to stick with her. He was going to walk away. The entire thing was going to prove to be like a dream sequence that she was having about some guy that came into the bookstore, and they never even had a relationship. I'm like, I think that actually would have depressed the ever-loving hell out of me, but at least the ending gives you the possibility that this is not seeing them from the beginning again, and you know how it's going to end. This is, they already have seen how it ends, and they're going to do it anyway. And I'm like, I mean, that's not insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I think that's actually hope that things can be different this time.
Healing, I think.
Yeah.
They're allowing themselves to experience it and be themselves and to be okay with it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It was worth it.
Beautiful.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, saying it's worth it. It's worth it for me to enjoy this time with you, even though I know it's going to end.
And poorly maybe.
Yeah.
But it's still worth it. Yeah.
Um,
The pain of the actors, and I feel like a lot of that was real pain that they drew up from themselves. Yeah. You can see it so strongly on the screen, and they're as painful as it is, and it is painful to watch, and you feel so much for them. Is it weird to say there's a beauty in it? I think just that vulnerability, maybe, that just so real, and maybe that's what it is just letting ourselves feel the pain, even though sometimes it'd be nicer not to have it.
And I think it's awesome for an example to give actors a chance outside of what you usually know them for. Like, these are totally different from what Jim Carrey usually did before this, or what Kate Winslet did before this. And they killed it.
And I think maybe
absolutely.
defense type was definitely a good thing, especially since everybody was encouraged to improvise except for Jim Carrey. He was told, no, you can't. It's like, you go over there, read your script, say what I want. And he actually played a much more toned down character. It wasn't that he couldn't do dramatic roles. He had done little flashes, little glimpses, little, departures from his usual, I am a man made of rubber, laugh at me, as opposed to, he is capable of really good dramatic presentations. And I think this one was even more interesting because it is actually scaled down. He's kind of contained, not like restrained necessarily, but it's interesting to not see him. He's obviously giving everything he has, but he's not acting with all he could, I guess, is his way. Some of his
not over the top. So I want to say something about that. I think we watched a little thing about, I think it was the director was telling Jim Carrey, this is a drama, cool it down, don't be over the top, and told, I can't remember her name right now.
Winslet.
Yes, Kate Winslet. This is a comedy. Like, be as big as you can be. Just go out there. So.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, from
I
reading the
think one
script.
of Kate Winslet's best roles is on Extras with Ricky Gervais. That's super funny. I don't know. That's just a side note, but honestly, I would say that I like the script better than the movie. I think the script is the Bible. Honestly, I was not expecting that. But yeah, you can study that. If you picked one script to study and you picked that inside and out and you tried to rework it and copy it, you will have a very long, very successful career in script writing, poetry writing, novels, anything written. If you study and master that script, you got a bright future.
But with the script, I don't know if there were later drafts of it before it turned into a movie or not, but if you guys directed this, do you think you'd come up with a movie anywhere similar to that?
No, I really appreciate it if I did.
I need a lot of training, and a lot more experience, and a lot more knowledge before I can touch that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We'll see.
How much of that do you think was the fact that he is not American? He did bring a lot of very European sensibilities, of very French style. Most of the film, if not all of it, was done using handheld cameras. They didn't really use Steadicam. They didn't use fixed point cameras. They didn't bother with anything like that. I think almost the entire film, if not the entire film, was based on kind of more almost a French New Wave aesthetic, and they used handheld cameras and as much natural light or as much simulated natural light as possible. They didn't want a bunch of lamps. They would hide light bulbs around the set, under things to kind of project and still light it well when they were filming the middle of the night and they needed a day shot. And I'm isn't that kind of interesting? It's almost I don't know. So yeah, that's the other thing. It's it obviously, the movie that this actor with that director, with this budget set wherever, the movie that those people make is different than the movie that got made. But is it his vision? Is it would an American director have done this differently? Would somebody writing a different script differently?
Yeah, you saw what they did to
European director would do it differently.
Oh, what's that movie? The girl with the dragon tattoo. They made the American version of it, and they added this love story and made it sappy and flowery because they thought people couldn't handle darkness. And the Swedish movie was savage. You know what I mean? It was very, very much, or a lot more intense, a lot more in your face. The character, the girl with the dragon tattoo, I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Sigrid was had way more attitude, But that's kind of what Europe does, and they do it really well. Is they experiment and they push the boundaries and they try things, right? And then we come and we kind of see what happens and try to use a little bit of it, but they've got it figured out, man. It's all about experimenting and exploring and trying new things. It's art, dude. What are you gonna do? You can't keep doing the same thing because it works. gets old, you know?
Yeah.
By the way, with whatever beanie you got on there, it almost looks like a beret, kind of, and you look
I know. I'm getting like Christoph vibes from Truman Show. Anybody
For
else?
sure, dude.
He needs the little glasses and like to say.
Let's do it. Yeah, for sure.
Weird little tie-ins.
Or just like a cigarette and an espresso. Just like
Good luck
tiny
with
little
that.
espresso cup, Jacob. That'd be sick, dude. Especially with the white background. All right, guys. It's been great. I gotta go process what I just read and then figure out some time to go to sleep after that. So I will talk to you guys soon.
All right.
Later.
Kirkland.
Like and subscribe. Peace.
Vicky's yawning. I was going to maybe talk a few more things, but I think maybe that's a sign that we all should call it. Is there anything more anybody would else? Oh, go ahead, Vicky. You want to say something? I looked away, I saw a hand like almost waving. I like raising.
One thing, I found myself when Joe was realizing, wait, no, stop, you guys. There should have been some kind of a fail-safe in that program so that you could make it stop. They should have been able to see the brain waves and, smart old Doc there. It shouldn't have been, no, you signed the contract, it's all gotta go. Like that frustrated me.
Yeah.
Or
And maybe
you
that
think
he's, oh, sorry.
You go ahead.
I was just going to say, maybe that he's jumping all over is an indication that he's trying to get away.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And again, like most movies, they can't be like super logical, and people make bad choices in life all the time. But super logical, or the movies might be less interesting. But it seems like if this was a real thing, they might have like a 2-week waiting period or something. That you come in all emotional and you fill it out, but they're like, okay, we don't do it for this much time.
Like a cool down period before you can get a gun. Actually, it's weird though that this might become a real thing. They've actually started doing it on manipulating and redirecting circuitry in mouse brains to affect their ability to remember certain things, which I was like, that's interesting. Also, does anybody know why the company is called Lacuna?
Nope.
No.
What a lacuna is? Okay, so a lacuna it's a word for a lake. It's basically a shallow dip that fills with liquid. Usually, if you end up with a lacuna in your brain, it usually will trigger, I believe, either stroke or seizure. It's something that will it can cause you to it can affect your memory and stuff like that. And also in like manuscripts or anything that's like paper or something like that. Well, especially like manuscripts or anything with paper. So like if you see like a papyrus or like an ancient page or something like that, the little holes where stuff is like broken up or degraded or like mice or insects got at it or whatever, those are actually called lacunae, which I found kind of interesting. So it's literally a piece where something is missing. It's a hole. It's something that's created
for history.
Remove something. And I'm like, it's interesting. So I liked it. I thought
Like they say, screenwriters and writers spend more time on like baby name websites and books than parents. Kind of like that. Like, coming up with a good creative name for that. Like that name's perfect. And thank you for educating us on that thing.
Yeah, I was going to say that if that actually becomes a thing and mainstream, it's not going to be any writers left.
Oh, there still will be.
They sell the hell, I know. But
we can just listen to their tapes and then write the movie, those stories, because they don't remember that they ever happened. So, just kidding. Heather, we haven't heard from you much tonight. What are your thoughts on taking away from just the script?
I zoned out for a little bit and went and worked on my script. Well, scripturally, we're all talking.
Oh, good. It's glad to hear you're working on the script. Is this the one you're going to enter into the Table Read Tuesday contest coming up?
So it's not
September?
perfect, and I would love some beta reader before.
Well, and that's a great reason to do it, is if you feel it's not perfect, because then you'll be more open to feedback. And that's a great thing about so many people reading it and giving feedback, so you can help improve
Well, I am
it.
open to feedback, but I want to be in it, so I don't know how that's going to work.
It won't work. You can't be in yours if we're doing it on here.
Aw. Well, I know. But still.
Not for this one, not the ours setup.
Sorry.
you can set one up. You can set one up and you have people that you know.
Yeah, I can do a different table read that way for sure. Do that with the updated version from the notes and
Well,
feedback.
then maybe I won't because I had designed this main character for myself.
Understandably.
Yeah,
Should.
same. I do it with my
Makes
two.
sense.
Then reach out to people who you want to cast
And you were
as those
debating between
characters and
Yeah.
do it on your own.
Yeah,
and you were debating between 3 scripts, right? So
I don't know yet.
okay, you're tired. You need to go to sleep.
No, I just didn't know that I could be in it. So
Gotcha. Sorry to drop that. We can dwell on it some more. We can think about it some more. We can discuss it. But yeah, maybe you can act in it and you can be in that part, and then we gotta mute you and kick you out while we discuss it, and then we can bring you back. I mean, that's a possibility.
There you go.
Because we want to be able to hear it and give feedback on it without the writer responding immediately. Like right now, Charlie Kaufman can't explain any of the stuff from the screenplay to us. We have to say, did we understand it from the script on our own? What did we take from it? What do we think was meant from it by what was written there? And so someone else that's not Charlie Kaufman can hear back like, oh, that's how it's perceived. And I can tweak that differently.
well, I have my process.
And then we bring you back in, and then you can give feedback and say, oh, actually I meant this. But, anyhow, yeah, so screenplay contest coming up every quarter of every year for a year. So whatever level you are, get it done so you can get it in. What's that, Petra? You gonna work on one?
We'll see. Maybe. Stop looking at me. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, but this was honestly a extraordinarily cool experience. It was a great script, fantastically cast with everybody that was in here, and just this was kind of like Caitlin's. I think this might be my favorite of the ones that we've done so far. I definitely feel this character on a very deeply emotional, resonant level. It's like I'm like, wow, okay.
We saw you in her when we watched it. We're like, that's Petra.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad I asked about it. Like, I think this might be my favorite thus far that at least that I've gotten to be a part of, because I know going back and watching them, they're great to have on as like, background noise, and then I just like start watching and get sucked in for like an hour and a half while I'm supposed to be doing other things. But it's
cool.
Being to be able to be a part of it is actually kind of very cool too. So thank you guys for that. That's awesome.
And someone else commented similar in our chat too. And it's so hard to chat while acting and reading and moving things. I'm like, some people are like, how are you doing it? And I try to time when I chat, because I'm like, okay, they have no lines coming up for a little bit. Now it's safe to do. And then I lose my place on scrolling the script. But yeah, I agree. Amazing. You guys are amazing. And I'm glad that we have this to meet you all and to all do this together. Last chance. Anything else before we call it?
If I start talking about trivia, we'll be here all night. So.
Are you going to say, Morgan?
I just want to say what I think is great about Charlie Kaufman is that he is so original, but he also just speaks his truth. And I think that's an important lesson for any writer, is to not look at other writers, but to speak your own truth, because that's what's going to make your script original and stand out, and not try and be like the greats, but to be you. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
And I think that's a beautiful, strong thought for us to leave on. So, all right, till next week, please don't forget us.